Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. We are a little bit early tonight, mainly because my guest, who I will introduce in just a moment, was early. I was early. I didn't boomer anything. We've got the show ready to go and figured, why would we keep people waiting? So with me tonight, I'm waiting. Do you mind if I announce you now? Oh, okay. With me tonight is my guest Shane. So hey Shane, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty well. Pretty well. It's a Sunday night. I have children with the flu. What could be better? What could be better?
That shit is horrible. I actually had two kids with that recently.
Yeah, it's not very fun, man.
All right.
So let's see. Let's give a little bit of background information to the people watching. This is of course about the ongoing Vic Mignogna drama, legal drama, personal drama, social drama that's been going on. There are two sides of this Vic Mignogna situation, which I think has gone maybe a little bit beyond Vic himself and has become more about a cultural battle. But Vic, of course, is he's the linchpin of it, right? He's what's bringing this all to a head. I am openly supporting Vic. I am running his GoFundMe. And Shane is on the other side of that, but I don't know the extent of your involvement. So you'll have to give us the background and tell us a little bit about you, sir, because I have only seen you on Twitter a couple times. So that's...
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. Okay. So I am, for a living, because people have been asking, I'm a senior system engineer working for a large corporate real estate company doing random stuff. I run conventions on the side and have so for 28 years. I am on the opposite side of you mostly. I am the person who is basically wanting Vic to make a comeback, but he's not making a comeback. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Okay, so you're wanting Vic to make a comeback.
I am wanting Vic to make a comeback.
Can you describe that a little bit? Because I don't...
Absolutely.
Sure.
So I have actually known Vic. I mean, we're not friends or anything, but I've actually known Vic for, at least 10 years. He's a great guy. As I've said numerous times on Twitter, he is one of the nicest guys in the world when you meet him. I've hung out with him backstage in operations numerous times. So it's not like just like walk up to his table, meet and greet. I've actually written his contracts for cons. I've signed paychecks to Vic. Vic is a sweet guy. However, over the years, he has had some issues. Over many years, he's had some issues that many people are aware of. And so I am in the position that I would like Vic to make a comeback. And it's not like just I think it's going to take a lot of PR. I think it's going to take some very strategic workings of a PR firm to bring him back, but I think that it's possible. I am also aware that certain things are happening right now on the internet and around the community and around the world, specifically in this country, that are preventing him from having a comeback and are making his brand more toxic. And so that is basically my position right now.
Gotcha. Now, that's an interesting position. I think that's a long shot saying that Vic gets to come back through the work of a PR firm, but that's my opinion. So here's what brings us together tonight. I have been discussing potential legal strategies for Vic and his team. People have, of course, doubted me as a legitimate lawyer, which is weird because you can find me pretty simply if you know where to look. Now, help me out with something. Are you the guy who went to the MSBA website, couldn't find me, and was questioning my credentials? Is that you who posted that?
I did post it. I did not go look it up. it was actually something sent to me, and someone was talking about you, so I posted it saying I would like to see this guy's credentials, that he is a lawyer, or that he's a licensed lawyer. So,
Sure.
and what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, I mean, this is your show, so you make the rules. But what I would like to do is I want to get some clarification first on who we both are.
Okay.
Because I am confused at this moment in time. So as far as I know, you're on Vic's side. I've seen some of your videos.
Sure.
You started the GoFundMe for Vic,
Yep.
and you've reached out to Vic and parts of his law firm, and you've gotten the GoFundMe approved. Absolutely, it's been approved, and part of it's going to the Salvation Army. So just a couple of questions to get things started. Have you, in fact, talked to Vic or his attorneys about any strategies about the legal, anything about their legal strategies going forward?
I am not aware of what their legal strategy is going forward.
Okay. Has Vic at any point whatsoever told you personally, or his law firm told you personally, that he is suing specifically at wide range? Has he ever said he is specifically suing anyone, or has his law firm said they're specifically suing anyone, or is this your best guess in your position?
I am not aware of Vic's legal strategy. No one has communicated it to me. I don't know if they've even fully formulated it. My position, as I've stated in multiple videos, is that this is what could be done. This is what I would do if I was going scorched earth on someone and had the resources to do it.
Okay, cool. Then let's have a conversation about that.
Okay. I'm here to have that conversation. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Like personally, so recently. Well, actually, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but let's start with the first one. So there is a. Give me a second. Let me decide which one I want to talk about first.
Okay.
You know what? Let me just go ahead and put it this way. So I am behind the scenes in conventions, and I see a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes conventions worldwide. I see a lot of stuff in the Funimation world behind the scenes worldwide.
Okay.
I have personally written contracts for Vic. I posted them online, like screenshots showing that I've written his contracts. I have personally held in my hand Funimation employment contracts. I have seen tons of stuff that I'm just going to assume, I don't know for a fact, but I'm just going to assume that I have personally seen or written many things that you have personally never seen. And I'm not going to question your expertise in law at all at this moment. What I am going to say, though, is I have talked to people who are close to Vic. And I have talked to people who are against Vic. And my impression at this exact moment is there is a large internet crowd which is very much hurting any chance Vic has to come back. Because, and I'm just going to explain my position here for a second.
Yeah, you have the floor.
We have people coming into your specific video, watching your YouTube videos, and then running off to all the voice actors, harassing them nonstop, and pretty much everything nonstop every day for the last 2 weeks has been, Vic is doing this, Vic is doing that, Nick told me so. Or, oh my God, go look at this internet lawyer because this is what is actually happening. And I'm sitting there trying to be the voice of reasoning saying, wait, hold on just a second. Vic never said that. And there is what I'm going to say, and this is not all of your viewers, absolutely not. You have some viewers who really love Vic. They're really supportive of Vic, and they really want Vic to get through this. However, you also have a group of viewers who are taking the very slightest essence of what you said, twisting it, and running off into the world and spreading that message. And unfortunately, those are the people who have the loudest voices. And
That's pretty coincidental, isn't it? That they have the loudest voices? How would that work out?
Because they're the ones who are out there constantly, nonstop, talking every day after day 24/7, spreading their message. Oh my God, Vic is going to sue Jamie. Vic is going to sue Jamie. I know Vic is going to sue Jamie. Wait till you get in court, Jamie. I know Vic is going to sue Jamie. Monica, you're so fucking screwed. Monica, you're screwed. Oh my God, Funimation's going down. Vic is going to own Funimation. And it all comes from the fact that they watch your video and they listen to your words because you, right this second, are the only voice. You are the only real voice anyone ever listens to. And they take what you say, and in their minds, they want something to be true. And you're telling them what could be, but they're taking it as this is what is actually happening. And they're running out into the world and they're spreading this message. And I kid you not, they are destroying Vic's rep with the convention community. And that's where he makes all of his money. I mean, Funimation actors, which is what Vic was, he's an independent contractor. Those guys are fucking poor. Trust me, I dated one for years. Those guys are poor, all of them. They don't make a whole lot of money doing voice acting work when they can actually get cast in the role. They do their best. They beg to get voice acting work. They try their best. They stress everything to get voice acting work, and they finally get it. And Vic has been doing this for a long time, and he gets roles because he has a really amazing voice. But that's not where they make their money. They don't make their money voice acting. They make their money by going out and doing these appearances at conventions and selling autographs and talking with fans and their appearance fees. And what is happening right now is we have this group of internet people, like the ones who are some of the people who are on Jamie's feed and Monica's feed, who are going out, causing havoc, going to conventions, causing havoc at conventions, and they're making his brand more toxic than it ever would have been had they just stayed away.
Okay, so you're suggesting, if I've got this right, that people are coming onto my show, watching my show, taking my potential legal strategy, and then they are somehow damaging Vic's brand beyond an effort that has been running online since January 16th to paint Vic as a sexual predator of underage girls.
There's been an effort that's been going on.
Hold on. Whoa, chill out.
Sorry.
I will be very courteous to you. However, if I give you 10 minutes to talk, I will take my time to talk too. So, you're suggesting that that after Vic has been kicked out of, I believe, 18 conventions on absolutely zero empirical evidence, zero even circumstantial evidence, you have anonymous Twitter people online, and then you have testimonies from 3 identifiable people. Jesse Pridemore, who apparently has accused someone of rape, and oh dear God, I hope she is right, because if she's not right and accused a man of rape, that would be a problem. But you have Jesse Pridemore, whose story has largely been discredited. You have Jamie Marchi's story, and you have Monica Rial's story. All three of which have very similar, shockingly similar stories, almost like stories that they want so similar, want to be so similar to give credibility to the story itself. So you're going to tell me that people are coming onto my stream, they're watching me say, you know what, Vic could sue these people, and believe me, oh my God, if I were in a dreamland, Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial would have had papers last week. They would have had papers the moment they opened their mouths on Twitter. Jamie Marchi said she wanted his head and his balls. I could put actual malice on that chick today. I could put actual malice on that chick on February 8th. I think when she posted that, she was done then. So yeah, absolutely Vic could sue her. Make no mistake. But you're saying that after these women came out with these accusations, which don't have dates, don't have specific locations, don't have times, don't have corroborating witnesses, have gotten him fired from his Texas jobs and have gotten him removed from 17 conventions, that people coming off of my show and saying that, you know what, Vic could sue these people for defamation, that is tarnishing his brand? Are we in Realityville here? You think that is tarnishing his brand more than women who are saying, listen to hundreds of women, of which there are not hundreds of stories, by the way. There are maybe a couple dozen. That number is growing by the day for convenience. But you're saying that sexual harassment, sexual misconduct allegations, those didn't damage his brand irreparably. It's random people on the internet saying, hey, Jamie Marchi, prepare to get sued because some lawyer I watched on YouTube said you probably could be. That's damaging his brand. I firmly disagree. So
let me go over a couple of your points here real quick. So you brought up the conventions. Let me ask this question. Have you actually talked personally to any conventions and talked to them and discussed with them the reasons why they canceled Vic's contract? 18 conventions is what you mentioned. Have you talked to any of them and discussed why they canceled his appearance?
Why would I talk to 18 conventions, and why in God's name would they talk to me? I mean, I know a bunch of people are completely... Hold on. Don't forget whose show you're on, buddy. Do not forget that. You are on my show.
So you don't know why they canceled his appearance.
I don't care why. I don't care why they've...
Oh, you don't care what... Okay, good.
Here's the thing. You say you've watched my videos. Have I mentioned a single specific convention that could be sued other than Pensacon? TikTok.
I'm listening to you talking about all the conventions in your massive conspiracy. You're not going to back it up now? You just said massive conspiracy.
You're not listening. You said massive conspiracy. I said a legal conspiracy which involves 2 or more people furthering a tort. Are you going to disagree with that? By the way, you said, hold on. You said you weren't going to question my legal expertise on this stream, I guess, which is weird because you've been questioning my legal expertise on Twitter, on Discord. You've said flatly, Nick doesn't know what he's talking about. Back it up.
Nick doesn't know what he's talking about.
Back it up. Question any legal strategy I have mentioned.
The legal strategy is going around telling your viewers what actually happens in a guest contract at a convention when you've never seen one.
I have not said what happens in a guest contract.
We're talking about what happens.
Hold on. You just said that I said what happens in a guest contract at a convention. I have never stated what has happened. Anytime anyone asks me, I said, I've never seen one of those. I've never seen one.
Seen a guest contract.
No, why would
employment contract have you?
No, why would I need one? I'm not his lawyer.
So you're making a wild conspiracy theory about why he was fired.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's legal conspiracy is 2 or more people furthering a tort. We have Kaylin Saucedo. We have the other people from Channel Awesome writing articles. We have Kaylin Saucedo specifically stating that she has friends at Funimation. And in that time frame, her friends at Funimation, after her creation of a hashtag, this is enough evidence to bring a charge of civil conspiracy. All it takes, 2 people. I know you don't know this because you think you're a legal expert, but you're not. And you keep saying, I'm not, but buddy, I am. Legal conspiracy. You're saying big conspiracy theory as if there's a bunch of people smoking in a back room with cigars, low lights, speakeasies, and whiskey going, you know what, we got to take down Vic Mignogna. No, a legal conspiracy applies to 2 parties furthering a tort. We have so much evidence for multiple legal conspiracies. I know that we have plenty of evidence because 1, there was an investigation. There's an investigation. You understand there was an investigation, right? One that came up inconclusive. That was from an IO9 article. And then apparently, allegedly, a second investigation.
Stop. I'm sorry, stop. I'm not going to let you sit here and roughshod over this, especially when you start speaking up about things that you may not know about. How are you aware that a Funimation investigation or any investigation was affected by an IO9 article?
The IO9 article reported that the initial Funimation investigation was inconclusive, which came from a Funimation which came from a Funimation employee. Then there was allegedly a second Funimation investigation because Funimation said, following an investigation, we have decided to cut all ties with Vic. I know it because that is what has been stated. Now, if someone lied, then that's not my problem.
Wait a minute. All of your speculation right now, and you've got fans right now going around the internet mentioning about how bunk these articles are. IO9, Giz, and all of these inappropriate, lying, horrible articles who are just out to slander Vic. And you're telling me that you, who are their leader right now, is basing his information off those exact same articles?
I'm flattered to be there.
You don't have any kind of inside information? You don't have any kind of inside information behind Funny. You don't have any inside information about the contracts. You haven't actually talked to Vic's lawyers about legal strategy. You're basing your information off the same articles that these guys are going to Jamie's page and trying to say that these articles are shit. You're basing your information off what your followers think are shit. Is that what you're telling me right now?
I'm very flattered that you call me the leader, but let's get something straight here. Have you ever brought litigation against someone? Because when you bring litigation against someone, you have to go off of available information, correct?
I have, yes.
Okay, so am I correct in stating that if you bring litigation against someone, you have a pool of available information, like statements that they made, maybe to news publication, that would be something you could use to craft your complaint, correct?
Oh, wait, stop. Hold on. Just to make sure we're actually on the same page.
I mean, this is a simple question.
I understand it is simple. What are we going to court for? There's a million things that Vic could actually go to court for and sue for. Let's take Funimation. Vic is
hold on. Wait, why won't you like your question is a far off tangent No. I'm trying to get you to say whether or not when you are bringing any litigation of any kind, if you are to use available information like that is available to the public, like maybe something someone said in a journalistic publication, for example, or maybe something someone said to another person who can corroborate that statement? Or are you supposed to use information that you do not have access to, like maybe an internal investigation report? Which one do you use when you go on to bring litigation?
When you go to bring litigation, there's going to be discovery, and you're going to grab the information.
Oh my God. You don't just get discovery. Like, you have to make a complaint that has to survive 1, sua sponte dismissal for failure to state a claim, and 2, potentially a motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim, and then you get discovery. You have to allege a particular amount. You have to allege a particular set of facts that create enough of a controversy to get you there. And you have to do that on publicly available information because you do not have access to other stuff. Yes, you get to discovery and you might be able to add more. It's almost like I made several videos talking about this process, but I'm just not sure. So answer the question. When you bring litigation, do you go off of information that is available publicly, or do you go off of information that is behind some sort of door that you don't have access to? Which one do you do?
When you actually go into litigation, you actually go and you actually subpoena the information. You get information that's public and private.
You don't just get to subpoena information. You have to have cause. You have to have some level of articulable claim, and you have to make that claim of fact. You don't get to do it. It's Iqbal versus Twombly. This is Civil Procedure 101. Hey, wait, I thought you told me I don't have the legal expertise over and over, and here you are missing a very basic step. The first step of litigation is to bring claims against someone. You have to draft a complaint. Yes, you do. You have to draft a complaint and hand it to somebody. You have to serve them, or you have to file it in court and get a summons.
You can't even decide what kind of litigation you're bringing.
Civil litigation. What are you talking about?
There's a million civil litigations. What are you bringing?
Literally all of them start with a complaint.
Oh my God.
Every single one. Okay, what's the alternative process? Come on, bring me the alternative process than a complaint and summons, buddy. What is it?
You can't even decide what kind of litigation that Vic
What
could be bringing
is
against
the
anyone.
other process than summons and complaint for bringing civil litigation? What is it? You're such
Okay.
an expert. What is it?
Let's back up because
No,
maybe we're
answer
asking
the
the same-
question. How do you bring a civil suit without a summons and complaint? Answer it.
You can't even answer what you're actually going to
Oh
court
my
for.
God, you are embarrassing. Answer the question. Without a summons and complaint, how do you bring a civil suit?
What is Vic suing for?
It doesn't matter.
It
Literally
does, because
every... Okay, fine. Tortious interference with business prospects. How do you bring a complaint
Great.
with... How do you bring...
Yay! Let's do this.
Oh my God, please answer the question now. How do you bring suit other than a summons and complaint?
All right, let's do this. Tortious interference of a business. You're going to bring a complaint stating that a business.
You're going to bring a complaint? Is that what you just said? Answer me. Please, dear God, answer me.
Are you just going freaky right now because you're frustrated?
You're the most...
Are you frustrated right now?
Are you
Is it
seriously
because
going to pull the
that-
are you mad?
Yeah.
You mad, bro? No, answer the question.
You are
Answer
mad,
the
bro.
question. Answer the question. You won't even answer it. How, did you say you bring a complaint?
I did say that you actually bring a complaint. You file
Yes.
a suit.
Okay, thank
against a
God.
company. You file a suit against a company. You have stated now, and I've been asking for 10 minutes about what kind of suit are you filing. Now we're filing a suit, tortious interference against a business. Let's go. Tortious interference of a business.
Okay, how do you
are now-
file that suit? Is it with a summons and complaint?
It-
The
That's
answer
for
is
my
yes.
lawyer.
The answer is yes. Of course,
Okay.
the answer is yes. There is
Good for
no
you.
other way to bring suit against someone, even though you nebulously stated that there is.
Good for you. Let's go over it now.
Good for me. Oh my. Okay.
Let's go over it now.
Let's go over it. Let's go over my hypothetical one cause of action that I mentioned to get you to
Vic-
answer one question. Okay.
So Vic is going to sue for tortious interference of a business contract.
I don't know, but he could. Not of a
wait.
business contract. I said of
this is
prospective business.
Okay, prospective business, not even actual prospective business.
Yes,
You're
that's a
going to
cause of
expect-
action in Texas. It
Oh,
falls under a broad category of civil actions called corporate or business defamation.
Oh, so Vic is also egotistical now. Great. Okay, let's do it.
What?
So Funimation is going to so Vic is going to sue Funimation, saying that they are interfering with potential business that he may have. Let's go for it. How is Vic going to sue Funimation, saying they are intentionally interfering with a business opportunity that he has? Go.
Okay, how you bring this cause of action? The elements are that a business in the course of business makes a statement or does an action that causes damage to someone's brand in the form of something like defamation. There are other potential causes of action, but we'll go with business defamation, like potentially saying that an internal investigation came up about harassment, for example, came up that after that investigation, they decided to cut ties, and then adding a subtext, a second comment, which doesn't make any sense from any legal capacity, of saying that we do not condone or support harassment or targeting of any kind. For example, let's just say that. Then maybe 17 conventions disinvite Vic following that. I think we can go ahead and suggest, for the purposes of the complaint at least, that we can say that Funimation made a statement that caused Vic damage. The only thing that we would have to prove would be actual malice, which can be alleged in the complaint and sought through discovery. Yes, I think I could have written that weeks ago. I could certainly write it today. I could have that in the mail by tomorrow if I were representing Vic and that was the cause of action that was correct.
You probably could, but you're not representing Vic, and there's probably a reason for that. So let's just go over.
Yes, I'm in
said.
Minnesota. I'm not licensed in Texas. I'm a solo practitioner. I don't have the firm. I don't have the firm resources to go ahead and sue potentially 15 different parties, including a multi-billion-dollar company called Sony or a multi-hundred-million-dollar called Funimation. I don't do that type of litigation from the middle of central Minnesota. I primarily
You don't personally have that kind of finances available, which means you actually obviously don't understand how lawsuits actually work because it's not you paying for it. But let's go ahead and go on with this. So
no, hold on. You're suggesting this is you right now. Let me just go ahead and point out. You're suggesting that Vic should maybe consider hiring a solo practitioner who does small civil litigation in central Minnesota, to take his case, which might be filed in Denton County, Texas, which might be filed in the Eastern District or Northern District of Texas, and maybe has suits in the Southern District of California. You're suggesting that it's because I lack some sort of resources or something. I don't even know what you're trying to say, because that statement you said there's a reason. No, you said there's
reason why you're not his counsel.
The reason I'm not Vic's counsel is because there is no reason for me to be Vic's counsel. It would be absolutely silly. It would be patently absurd to hire a solo practitioner in a state 1,000 miles away to do a complex.
Talk to his lawyers, doesn't know the strategy, doesn't know anything. A guy who is out there speaking on the internet, trying to get viewers, who has admitted he doesn't know the first thing about what Vic is actually wanting, what Vic's lawsuit actually is.
I don't have an attorney-client relationship with Vic, you brainlet. I can't.
So you don't know shit about what Vic is doing.
I've never claimed to. I've never once claimed to.
Right there.
What?
Right there. Right there. That's all.
What?
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This has been embarrassing for you. I've never claimed to know what Vic is doing. I've said this is what I would do if I had these resources. This is a strategy someone could take.
You're not doing this for me. You're not doing this for me. I didn't take this interview so I could talk to you about this. I'm taking this interview so that there was a video clip of you admitting that you had absolutely no idea what was going on with Vic's lawsuit, and everything that you're saying is speculation. That was it. That was the entire reason I got on this.
Way to do what you could have done by just going to the beginning of any of my other videos and saying, look, here's him saying he's not Vic's lawyer. You could have just gone to the GoFundMe page. I am not representing Vic in a legal capacity.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I saw it. I wrote it. The big gotcha is that I'm not representing Vic. What a win for you.
That's not the win. That's not the win for me, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, trust me, there isn't one.
Anyways.
Hey, you owe my man Guns Beer Freedom $500. You said I was going to cancel. He took the bet. You said I was going to cancel.
I didn't even see the bet.
Well, he put it on Twitter like 45 minutes before the show started. He replied to you.
I can't. Well, hold on. First of all,
hold on. Wait. Well,
first of all, don't lie, because I posted that 30 minutes before the meeting.
You said there was an hour to go. You said there was an hour to go on your post. Oh, my God.
Are you ignorant? Go check Twitter.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh my God. You're so ignorant, and you just make shit up for your fans.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
30 minutes ago, you said, okay, that was someone who's never seen a guest or funny contract will attempt me to school me. Yeah, you got to go to.
Exactly. You already admitted that part.
No, go to the one where you put out the bet.
Where was that at? Let's see. If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Oh, well,
let's see. Where was that at?
Get ready.
I haven't been wrong so far tonight. I mean, you're exactly what I think you to be.
Haven't been
You've already
wrong
admitted
so
that you
much.
didn't know shit about what Vic is doing. I mean, you just every argument that we've been having on Jamie's thread for the last 2 weeks, you just absolutely gave us a video clip to use.
2 hours. So at 9:57 p.m. my time. Bet in the office. Here, I'll screen share it for you. We'll just go ahead and
screen share it.
share, focus on here. 9:57 p.m. 24th of February. Bet in the office is that Nick has an excuse and cancels at the last minute. Who wants on it? That's an hour before showtime. An hour and 3 minutes, technically. 47 minutes ago, $1,000 says Nick shows. Can I take this bet? Show more replies. Guns, beer, freedom. No one wants in? 1 hour left. It's your stupid words.
Wow,
it's your words.
You know
1 hour ago.
You know what?
I'll take that. $500. Cool. I'll bet you.
Hey, you know what? I'm like you. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And so I guess I owe one person $1,000 and I owe two people $500. I mean, unlike you, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong.
Well, they'll be expecting checks.
I mean, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, you know?
Are you going to pay them?
What?
Are you going to pay them?
I will absolutely work on paying those guys. I will find that screenshot and I will absolutely look at doing that. I have no problem with
realize
that.
you just called me a liar over that, right? Like you said, I'm a liar because I was taking your words, and just pointing them out to you. And you deigned to call me
that I was mistaken.
Well, I mean, you've been mistaken quite a bit.
Are you still upset about the fact that I just found out and you admitted live on this national stream that you don't know the first thing about what's going on with Vic, and all this entire stream that you do is all speculation?
I say it's speculation every stream. How are you this embarrassingly bad at this?
The cool thing is I already talked to someone earlier today who actually talks to Vic. And I already knew that everything that you actually talk about on your stream was speculation. I already knew that everything was speculation and that you were full of shit.
Oh my God. Join 200,000 people who know that what I talk about is speculation because they watch me say, I'm not Vic's attorney. This is what I would do if I had the chance.
I wanted you to keep saying it over and over and over again so it gets into their heads.
Okay.
Just keep saying it. This is all speculation.
I can't wait for you to make a super cut as a gotcha.
No, I'm just waiting for you to keep saying over and over again that you don't know what you're talking about with Vic.
Okay, buddy. Now let's get to it. Let's get to it because did you forget what we were here to discuss? You said
we were discussing all of that.
You said.
Okay. Here we go. Here's my question for you. You're going to sue. Let's hypothetically.
No, I'm not going to sue anybody. Remember?
Not you. Vic. So Vic's law firm is going to sue Funimation for interfering with a business contract, and you yourself brought up conventions, which is where his money comes in at. So I would like you to explain to me how he goes to court, any court whatsoever, in or out, any kind of litigation, and explains to a court and files a claim saying that Funimation fired him, made a statement online, which they did, and the second tweet of that statement made a claim about sexual harassment. It was a different tweet from when they said he was fired, but the second tweet said, we don't condone sexual harassment. I would like you to explain to me and all the viewers and everyone listening online at home how it is that he goes to court and says that that tweet was the cause of him losing the income with any convention in this country when you don't know, nor does he, why the convention canceled his contract under their lawful termination agreement in their contract. How does he explain that that was the cause of it? Because if he doesn't, and he cannot prove malice intentional interference with the contract, he cannot use TI for business. He has to prove that that comment is the reason the contract was canceled, and they intentionally tried to get him to cancel the contract. Explain that to me, please.
Okay, if you're done reading Wikipedia about
I'm not even you want a screenshot? I'm looking at your face in Discord. I'm not looking at Wikipedia. This is off the top of my head. Go for it. Good.
That is at least a little bit reassuring. Okay, first of all, you're talking about tortious interference with a contract, which requires knowledge of requires actual knowledge of a contract and an intent to interfere with that specific contract. I'm talking about business or corporate defamation, which is tortious interference with prospective business prospects. Now, that is a separate cause of action in Texas, and when it involves business defamation, you don't actually need to know about the contract. And if you show actual malice, which you would allege based on the statements of various VAs from Funimation, you would allege actual malice, especially considering some of the VAs have admitted to being part of an investigation, and those VAs have subsequently shown themselves to fabricate evidence of swattings and other things. Okay, you would mention actual malice, you would allege it, hope to find it on discovery. I'm guessing if you go through enough corporate communication, you can find that there was an effort prior to the release of Broly to remove Vic. That effort failed. And then there was a second effort to remove Vic after the release of Broly, which succeeded. That's pretty easy. Now, you don't have to have knowledge of any specific contract in business defamation, because when you impugn a business's ability to conduct business within its trade or within its market, damages are presumed because you don't know which contracts would be affected or not affected. So no, you don't have to prove a specific and before you jump in at the end of this, there's a further statement because I'm going to head off the argument you're going to make. But you don't have to prove a specific convention dropped him for this statement or for any other statement, because any number of conventions might have sent him a letter of invitation, even ones that weren't mentioned, even ones that aren't part of the 17. That's why you presume damages, because there's no way to understand the scope of damages that are caused by business defamation. It's called defamation per se, negligence per se. It's as a matter of law. You don't have to prove damages. However, even if you wanted to go into each and every con that dropped him and bring a cause of action for tortious interference with a contract, a specific contract, you could get past that. Because in Texas, even if there's an exit clause, because I know you threw that in there as some sort of gotcha, but in Texas specifically, under Texas Supreme Court decisions, even if there is a cancellation or termination clause, up until the moment it's terminated, tortious interference still applies. So even if you give a valid reason for them to cancel a contract, and they cancel a contract, but the communication was done with actual malice and was not privileged, you still have tortious interference because you're in Texas. And because you're in Texas, truth isn't a defense. But I'm not the one who knows this, right? You certainly have a counter argument within the jurisdictions we're talking about, correct? It wouldn't be that way in Arkansas, in Louisiana, in Alabama, in Washington, D.C., in New York State, in California, but it is in Texas. So please tell me now where I'm wrong, since you're the expert.
I'm sorry, I actually wasn't paying attention to all of that.
How embarrassing you are. You are the most embarrassing person I've ever seen. I just laid out exactly what you asked. I just laid out exactly.
They're saying right now that you look angry.
I am angry. You're wasting 4,400 people's time.
4,400. Wow. You got a whole bunch of people who just heard you say that you didn't know the first thing about what's going on with Vic's lawsuit.
Oh my God. If that's your takeaway, from this. Oh, okay.
Someone just said that maybe if you talk louder, you'll be right.
I right the entire time. You haven't shown a single shred of where I'm wrong.
You're not right about. You don't know anything about what Vic is doing. That's the end of it. You don't know anything about what Vic is doing. You're making wild conspiracy theories on the internet. You're making speculation. You don't even practice Texas law. You're not licensed in Texas.
And shockingly, I know so much more about it than you that it's sad.
And yeah, that's why you've been wrong every single time. That's why you've never seen a contract. You've never seen a contract for his employment. You've never seen a contract at a convention. You're assuming what actually happens in Texas law when it comes to contracts. You have never, as a matter of fact,
I'm telling you very clearly what happens in Texas law with contracts. You didn't even listen. You're too busy. You're too busy looking at Lolly or whatever you're doing. I don't know.
You've never actually been to court. You've never actually been to court in Texas for a convention contract ever. In your life, you have never been to court in Texas for a contract for convention. I have. I've written the contracts. I've argued them in court. I've won in court. You've never done that. You are an internet lawyer in Minnesota doing a podcast trying to tell someone in Texas who writes these contracts and who's won these contracts in court what the actual law is and
Yeah,
saying that
it's
all
it's
decisions
pretty
I've won.
easy.
I know, because I've watched your videos. You're the guy who gets online, argues what you think is going to be the case, and then when it's argued in the other favor, makes another video and says, this is why the court was wrong. That's what you do. You basically argue what you think it should be, and then when it's decided against you, you make videos saying why the court was wrong. That's all you do.
Which video did I argue where the court was wrong, where I thought it should go a different way?
You're basically an internet hack catering to really bad people.
Catering to the who? Catering to the who? Say it. Say it.
Catering to the really bad crowd.
No. Name it. Name it. Name who you wanted to name.
I was going to name the people who are defending blackface lawyer.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Good job. You win. Great.
You're first. Hey. You're a First Amendment lawyer. I respect you. You're a First Amendment lawyer. Absolutely. I have respect for you for standing up for First Amendment rights. No hate there. You do what you do. You're a First Amendment lawyer. You have a right to stand up for it. That's fine. That you're a lawyer. That's what lawyers do. Absolutely. There's no hate with you standing up for that as a lawyer.
No hate for it. It kind of sounds like there's some hate for it. Did you want to say it caters to the alt-right? You can say it here. It's safe. We're in a safe space.
Oh, no, there's no safe spaces, honey.
Because you said caters to the alt, and then you stopped. Go ahead and say it.
I'm going to say that you cater to. You're gonna cater to a branch of people that even some people on the alt right are ashamed of. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what you do.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, now back to the subject that you brought up and demanded. You demanded I name a thing, right? So I said tortious interference with business prospects. Then you said, how is he going to do this? Then I laid out literally step by step exactly how you do it in Texas. And you said, I wasn't listening. So why don't you go in and tell me where I was wrong?
Well, first of all, because tortious interference in a business in Texas, that you actually can't do it. You can't just basically go to any random contract in Texas.
You're confusing. This is so sad. You're confusing tortious interference with contracts and tortious interference with business prospects.
Okay, first of all, no, I'm not. We have already established that I'm the person who's actually been to court for contracts in Texas, and you have never done that. So.
And then why am I so much more versed in it?
Obviously, you're not. I mean, obviously, that's why you're just a podcast lawyer.
Then name where I'm wrong. Name where I'm wrong.
Well, I was just doing that before you interrupted me because I'm afraid of being embarrassed.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tortious interference of a business in Texas. The company if you're suing a company, you have to prove that company intentionally meant to interfere with a contract out of malice.
Oh my God. No, that's tortious interference with contract, not with business prospects. Look it up where? Where are you reading it from?
I understand that you're a YouTube podcast lawyer. Can you at least look at Google before you come on these shows so you don't embarrass yourself?
Oh, buddy, take your own advice.
I did. Trust me, I did. And I'm coming on the show, and I am nobody. I am nobody. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. I'm not a lawyer. And I'm sitting here telling you the law in Texas, and you're a guy who didn't even bother to do your research before you came on this show.
You have said so many times, you're laying out very well the elements of tortious interference with a contract.
With a business, but you keep interrupting me because you're afraid of getting embarrassed. And I can bring up the case law if you would like.
Go ahead.
Unless you don't want to be embarrassed on the internet.
Go ahead. Believe me, I have no fear of being embarrassed on the internet.
You obviously not. I mean, shit. I mean, people are already talking about this. This shit's getting spread around right now.
Good. Put it all out. You realize, of course, I do this publicly all the time.
I do realize, and I realize that there's a reason why you did the GoFundMe, and I realize why that you have been catering to the people you cater to, and I realize why you're putting out the conspiracy theories, and I understand. I know what it's like for someone, I understand why you're doing what you're doing. I do.
What you don't understand how to do is answer a question, apparently.
No, yeah, okay. As a matter of fact, what's your 44,000 viewers have been seeing this entire time while you've been going on a rant and getting all red-faced is 90% of the time I've been sitting here laughing at you while I'm typing to other people because a lot of the stuff that you're saying is ridiculous. And here's the thing, at the end of the day,
you realize real quick, you realize that this chat that is running, that you're claiming what they're saying is archived, right? And it's playing on, like, people will be able to watch it. Like, you realize, okay, I'm just making sure.
I'm glad that they can actually watch it. I really am, because it's going to come in handy later. So at the end of the day, at some point down the road, Vic is himself going to decide what he wants to end up pursuing. He's going to decide if he wants to end up pursuing a PR campaign to try to make a comeback in the business, or if
you're supposed to lay out the elements of tortious interference with business prospects in Texas. Like, where did that go?
I'm working on it right now. We're having a conversation while I'm working on it.
Oh, I guess. I mean, it's fun that you're getting Cliff's Notes from Discord and using Google. But I mean, I think you'd have it ready.
I hate to have to do your work for you. I really hate to have to do your work for you, but this is apparently what I have to be doing. So here, do you want to share my screen and let's go over this with all of your viewers, and you can lay it out with your lawyerly advice?
Go ahead, share the screen. It's focused on you right now. Click on the green arrow.
All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and lay this out. Let's go with this one first. This is just the first one I pulled up. I haven't read it yet. So let's see if this is a good one. I don't know if this was a good one or not, but we'll find out. Let's read it. Proving fraud can be complex. Sorry, Nick. But the idea is straightforward. You enter a contract with a party who lies about a significant fact. You recover more damages through litigation. So I guess we'll come back to the lies about significant fact, because your entire argument, of course, is that Vic can prove that everyone lied about him. But we're going to leave that for later. Let's just go on with this. Fewer people, even sophisticated parties to contract, understand, trust, blah, blah, blah. So here, let's go over the basics. A contract exists between you, a third party, willfully and intentionally interfered with that contract. So, Nick, a contract exists between you and a third party willfully and intentionally interfered with that contract. This is not, I mean,
can you wait, go back down to no, go back to that, please. We weren't done. No, we weren't done. I wasn't done being educated. Please, now go up 2 lines. Go up 2 lines and read the bold text. Read the bold text. No. 2 lines from where you were. Go down 3 lines now, I guess. Have you been drinking more than me?
To prove tortious interference with an existing contract.
Yes, tortious interference with a contract.
With an existing contract.
Yes. You got it.
Hold on.
You have learned.
Hold on. You're going to tell me that your entire conspiracy scheme is based on the fact that Vic knows which cons are going to book him? This year?
No. How do
an existing contract?
Are you serious? No. Are you serious right now? You're trolling. You have to be trolling right now, right? Like, because I've said over and over and over again that tortious interference with a contract is a separate cause of action.
Okay,
it's not what we're talking.
Let's talk about this line right here. Willfully and intentionally interfered with that contract.
Yes, because that's tortious interference with a contract, which I've said probably 50 times that we're not talking about that cause of action. Oh my God.
All right.
No.
let's do this. Nick, bring up your law text because you're the law expert. Bring up your law books and show us.
No, I don't need to because I've said over and over, we're not talking.
I got it. That's not what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to show you what I'm talking about.
I don't need to. I'm actually an expert. I'm the guy who writes the webpage. Do you understand? Like
your webpage? I've seen it. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing.
Good.
You got a webpage. You got a webpage updated in January of 2018 with a YouTube video.
Yes.
I don't know what you're saying you're an expert at.
I'm an expert at law. Oh my God.
Obviously not.
Buddy, you don't realize, like, this is weird because from the get-go, you kept saying with an existing contract, and I'd say no, not with an existing contract. That's a separate cause of action. That is a separate thing entirely. And then you go to your source and you read tortious interference with an existing contract. I mean, like that
halfway down the page while I was reading a brand new page that I admitted I had never read before, and you stop me and say, "Wait, that's not what I'm talking about." And I'm like,
because it's not.
Read the rest of this page.
I've said I know you didn't read it. It's obvious because I said over and over we're not talking about tortious interference with an existing contract because I said I don't have the contracts. And
oh yeah, exactly.
Yes, I don't have the contracts, so I wouldn't bring that cause of action.
Would you like to see one? Do you want to see one?
No, I don't. What would it help? I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I'm not bringing that cause of action. I'm not even proposing that cause of action. Your brain is stuck on a gotcha loop where you think I've never even mentioned tortious interference with a specific contract.
Oh, no. Okay,
I've never mentioned it. And every time you bring it up, I say, no, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one.
Well,
we can bring up, it's business defamation, man. Oh my God.
Hold on, I got a message from one of Vic's people. Let me just look at it real quick.
Oh, good. Sources all day. Lots of dead air.
Dude, it's not. Dude, this is one of Vic's people. I have to respect one of Vic's people when they're talking to me when I'm on your show. I mean, seriously. I mean, drink your rum. Go for it.
I don't. I'm not pointing at the rum, buddy.
I mean, these people are closer to Vic than you are. So, I mean, if they messaged me in the middle of this interview and they knew I was having it, then I need to answer them.
Yeah, you better answer them.
Oh yeah.
When are you ever going to address any argument I've made?
I addressed arguments you made throughout this entire show.
No, you didn't, because I've been talking about business defamation, which comes out to tortious interference with prospective business relations, which involves a false statement that is made that causes interference with prospective contracts, not existing contracts, and damages are presumed because it's defamation and you don't actually have contracts. Because if you could just unperson someone and they never get work again, you're like, you couldn't get contracts again. That wouldn't be an effective remedy of the court. So,
all right. Let's start with your first sentence in that thing.
Okay.
False statement. Let's start with a false statement. So,
gotcha.
To begin with this, can you explain to me how Vic's law firm, lawyer, whatever, if Vic decides to take this to court, can you explain to me how Vic proves that all of the people were making false statements?
You don't have to prove that they all made false statements. Like how are you like this? I don't understand.
You're literally sitting here on the internet trying to pretend to be. You're basically saying that you're a lawyer, expertise in the law, and you don't actually have to go into court. You're saying that someone lied, and you don't actually have to come up with any evidence showing that they lied. You're just going to go into court and say, "Oh no, I didn't do that," and the judge is going to be like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I believe you. Done."
I'm sorry that you failed this part of listening, but you have a defamatory statement about business. Listen, about business, and that business That
What was
statement,
the defamatory statement?
we'll get there, but I'm laying out the elements of the claim because you weren't listening before. You make a defamatory statement in the course of business that damages prospective business relations, so the damages are presumed. All you have to do is show that there was a defamatory statement by the defendant and that that defamatory statement would reasonably interfere with those business relations. And again, in Texas, even truth is not a defense. The statement has to be privileged. I mean, I can't say it enough. And I know you think you've got me. I know you do, because I ham it up and I yell and I have fun, right? I get that. But listen.
I don't.
Listen.
Hold on. Let me just stop here right here for a second. I'm going to make this clear for you and everyone that's on this podcast. And I don't know who it is. I know there's people over here and I know there's people on your statement. But let me point this out for a second, because this part right here is true. Between the two of us, you running a GoFundMe for his legal funds, and I applaud that. I applaud that you're standing up and running a GoFundMe for his legal funds. I do. But between the two of us, of the people who are actually in the know behind what's going on behind the scenes, not speculation on the internet, behind the scenes, the people actually talking to those involved, and this thing that Vic may or may not be doing, one of the two of us is actually talking to those people, and it's not you. You're an internet lawyer who's making speculation to a bunch of people on the internet. You're not involved. You've never seen the contracts. You're not talking to anyone who is actually possibly involved in litigation. And you're not talking to Jamie. You're not talking to Funimation. You're not talking to Monica. You're not talking to anyone who would be a defendant. And you are not talking to anyone who would be a plaintiff. You're not talking to them about their legal strategies. You're not talking to his family about legal strategies. So between the two of us, there's one person who's talked to both sides, and that is me. You, sir, are a person on the internet who is basically having a podcast, making speculations about what you think is going on. And I got on the show originally, and I told someone who is a friend of Vic's, who had been talking to Vic a while ago. I had been talking to someone who was a friend of Vic's earlier, and she knows all about this. She knows about you. She knows about everything. And I told her earlier today, and this was much earlier today, when you first invited me, that I was going to come on the show. You don't want to finish listening?
No, I want to. I really desperately want you to get to your point so you can answer my question. Oh, come on. Now you're typing? You were just talking. Go back to talking.
Because the people who are close to Nick are more important to me, or the people who are close to Vic are more important to me than you are. Anyways, so what I was saying was that between the two of us, one of us is actually talking to the players actually involved in this thing. And I was talking to someone on Vic's side who's close to Vic, and she talks to his family all the time. And I was talking earlier today, and I said that I was going to come on the show not to try to talk law with you, but try to talk to you about what we've been talking about how to go about getting Vic's career back. How do we go about getting past this thing that we're in to the point that Vic can actually do what he said he wanted to do? He said he wanted to get back into doing anime. He loves anime. He wants to do that again. He wants to work for anime companies again. He wants to shoot anime videos. He wants to go to cons. I know Vic. I've talked to Vic. I have personally been with him numerous times behind the scenes. Vic wants to actually do conventions. And I was talking to her about how it is that we go about fixing this so that Vic can go back to doing what he loves. And I was going to come on the show to maybe try to talk to you and this segment that we're seeing who is making it harder and who is making his brand more toxic. But now that I've gotten on here, I realize that I don't think that you're necessarily the right voice for this conversation, because you want to talk about legal strategies.
You
and stuff
did.
Like that.
You did. You said I don't know what I'm talking about, and you still haven't provided a shred of evidence to support your position. Not one.
So hold on.
Oh
so I'm sitting here
God.
talking to you. I am sitting here talking to you about how do we get back Vic. I'm sitting here having a serious conversation with you. That
Oh, you are not.
I'm having a conversation with you about someone who is actually trying to help Vic get back into his job. And all you want to do is go back to these arguments about you're not serious about helping Vic. You're doing this for yourself. That's what this comes down to. You are doing this for yourself. You don't,
that's a strong claim, buddy. That's a strong claim.
It is a strong claim, and I'm going to continue talking to this person who actually talks to Vic about ways that we can go about fixing this entire situation. Whether Vic ends up handling these lawsuits, no matter what ends up happening with the lawsuits behind the scenes or what, that's a thing that Vic is doing or his lawyers are doing. That's between him and Funimation or him and whatever. And me and this person are going to continue talking about what it is that we do after the fact. And we're going to try to fix this online war that's going on right now with all these people who are warring on Twitter and everywhere else. And we're going to continue doing that. And we're going to end up doing that without you, because that doesn't appear to be what you're in for, because you're not really in this for Vic's future. All you care about is
you're definitely in it for Vic's future. Here's a question for you. Okay, we'll ignore the fact that you haven't answered a single question about law, not one, despite stating over and over that I have no idea what I'm talking about. We'll ignore that. We'll ignore that.
Sir, this is
no.
This is about
now we're getting to Vic. No, we're getting to Vic. Let's say, okay, what's your strategy to bring Vic back?
What's my strategy for bringing Vic back?
You're talking about bringing Vic back. So what's your strategy? How do we do it? How do we do it, buddy?
Well, the first thing that we have to do is we're going to work on getting rid of these Twitter wars that are going on.
Okay, the Twitter wars. How are you going to do that?
Well, first of all, me and those people in that chat, we're going to end up coming up with a statement that we can tell everyone that shows them that me, them, the Rangers, Jamie, Monica, that everyone is on the same page, and that we're going to stop this constant fighting, because it's not what Vic wants. He said it, it's not what he wants. And that we're going to stop this constant, everyday, nonstop trolling war, fighting war, and we're going to stop that, and we're going to try to come to some kind of peace with that. And then we are going to look at, once that point is done and everyone has simmered down, we're going to look at trying to get Vic's name to a point where cons are not laughing at the fact of bringing him in, that cons want to bring him in. Hey, and here's Vic.
How do you do that?
How do we do the second part?
Yeah, okay, so say we don't have any legal strategy, because we're throwing legal strategy out the door. How do you go about getting Vic to conventions with 3 credible, because they're verified people at least, that's a standard I'm going with for credibility, 3 credible accusations of sexual impropriety, an investigation from Funimation, according to their statement, an investigation about sexual harassment. How do you get cons to accept Vic back after having 4 major accusations go uncontested? How do you do that?
It's easy. We've already started. Vic was fine. There was whether you want to say it's an investigation or not, however you want to spin it, Vic was fired from these companies. After that happened, Vic came out with a statement on himself. He said that he was going to seek counseling. He was going to rededicate himself. And that was what he was going to do. So we let Vic do that for a while we're not warring. No one is harassing conventions at all. This is basically just Vic spending a couple of weeks, a couple of months away from all of the stuff that's going on. And there's nothing going on behind the scenes from Vic. There's no one warring on the internet. There's no one harassing conventions. And we let Vic go out and be the person that Vic wants to be. We let him turn around and do whatever counseling that he wants to do, whatever he said that he wanted to do. And then when he is done, we start taking Vic and we start bringing him back to conventions one at a time, showing, hey, here's Vic. Vic, there's the stuff that ended up happening, but this is Vic now. We're going to take Vic.
Okay. So your strategy, if I've got this right, is to have Vic disappear himself for a few months. And then a few months from now, you're going to come back and Vic's going to say, look, Vic was harassing, molesting, sexually assaulting people. That was the old Vic, but the new Vic, like 6 months out, now he's a changed man because he went to counseling. That's the plan to get Vic back into conventions and back into anime companies.
Considering the fact that I actually have the ability to actually invite him to 4 conventions right this second and you don't, I don't really think that this is the point where you want to be actually making more fun of Vic and saying more nasty stuff about Vic than I am. I have not said a single nasty. I have not. No. I have not said a single bad thing about Vic on this podcast.
I haven't either.
Yes, you have.
No, I'm laying out the statements that you're trying to combat. You said that you're going to let him say this is how Vic was, which means to leave the existing statements. Or are you talking about getting Monica, Jamie, Jesse, and Funimation to retract those statements? Because if they don't retract them, how are you going to get around the fact that you have at minimum 4 credible accusations of sexual misconduct that are out there? The legal strategy would be to go ahead and force retractions through the court or through settlement. That's a legal strategy.
Hold on.
No.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? How is it that you think that Vic can go to court, get some kind of retraction, and then after suing, like, let's say he sues a convention, how is it that you think that he sues any convention on the face of this earth? Hold on.
I haven't even said he's going to sue a convention. You keep saying that.
How do you think that he's going to sue Funimation and he's going to get everything I'm talking about revolves around bringing Vic back? You're talking about things that will never let him come back. He'll never go back to Funimation if he sues them. He's never going to go to a convention again if he sues one. All these things I know, and oh my God, you're so frustrating.
Are you frustrated? Are you mad? Are you frustrated? Are you mad?
Because I'm actually on the opposite side now. Now I'm actually sitting here trying to figure out ways to get Vic back, and you are absolutely working against me now.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to. I asked you, how does he come back from those existing statements? That's all. How do you tackle those?
I just told you we're going to bring him back and basically say, hey, this shit happened in the past. Vic is a different person now. Now we're going to invite him to this convention, and now this convention, and now this convention, and we will start getting him invited to conventions again because this is something that actually happened, and everyone fucking makes mistakes.
So you're saying that this happened? That
what happened?
That all this? You just said this happened, and everybody makes mistakes. So you're asking Vic to admit to all this?
I'm not. I am basically.
I mean, you just did. Already, so
Vic already made a statement. He already made a statement that said, and I quote. Well, I'm not going to quote, but he made a statement basically saying he's sorry for anything that he has done which has hurt other people.
Okay, and that's a general statement of apology. Okay,
I'm gonna leave it at that. Vic has done things that upset other people. I'm gonna leave it at that. Everything else behind that, leave that behind. Everyone in this world can have a better image. We'll leave that there. And as long as, I mean, obviously,
I'm going to ask you to help Vic right now. I'm going to ask you a tangible way you can help Vic right now. Ready?
Yeah.
Invite him to 4 conventions right now. Commit to doing that. Why not?
No.
Well, why not?
Hasn't changed yet. Because he hasn't changed yet.
Hasn't changed from what? Hasn't changed from what?
You're not listening.
No, I am listening. I'm listening desperately for an answer. What hasn't Vic changed from? Spell it out. Because I've asked you how you walk back the fact that there are 4 credible.
Let me do this. Let me tell you this.
Why don't you just answer the question? What has Vic not changed from yet? Just answer the question. Okay, go ahead.
All right. For Vic to convince me, or someone, one of his fans, to convince me to book Vic right now, here's what would actually have to happen. There would actually have to be a conversation between me and Vic, or my guest services team and Vic, any of the guest services team and Vic, about the things that we need to do when he comes back. It would be such as, hey, this is the impression that's happened in the past.
What's the impression?
You already know what it is.
No, I don't. I want you to say it.
There are people who aren't comfortable with Vic when he's around them.
Okay.
So that would have to be the first thing. We would actually have to have a rule basically saying, hey, we need to be very mindful and careful when we're around attendees. That's it. Mindful and careful around attendees. Let's just make sure we're on our best behavior on attendees. Make sure that everyone that we're touching understands and completely understands what's going on.
Vic already said that in his answers to IO9.
This is my time, not yours. I'm talking about the rules that we're going to lay out. He already said it. These are the rules that we would lay out for my conventions.
Let's just be clear. This entire show is my time, but you can go ahead and talk.
All right. So we would make it clear and the rules that he needs to be very careful around attendees. And then we'd make sure that he understands there would be very strict rules in place, not just for him, but every guest. There would be very strict rules around making sure they're careful around attendees, making sure they're careful when they're not around attendees, when they're out at a bar in the middle of the night, when they go back to their room, no attendees allowed in the room, just a whole wide swath of rules that we would put down, basically saying, here's what's acceptable, here's what's not acceptable, just to make sure that there's no possible chance of any issues whatsoever. And as long as Vic would agree to those rules, then we would look at, if a period goes by and we understand that Vic understands this, then I think it would be okay to start inviting him back to shows. And once we invite him back to one show or two shows, then we move on and we start inviting him to other shows. And let's say I invite him to one of my shows next year and everything goes great. He hangs out with attendees, no complaints whatsoever. We're all very careful about the rules. We're all very careful about
are these rules already implemented? I mean, surely the conventions that you're running have to have already implemented these rules due to the grievous nature of the allegations against Vic and others, right? So you've already implemented these rules, I assume, at your conventions. Is that right?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay, so these rules are already in place? How long have they been in place?
Actually, as a matter of fact, after this thing came out recently, a lot of conventions around the country ended up redoing and strengthening their rules.
Okay. How long have they been in place? At your conventions, you said you could invite him to 4 conventions right now. That was your claim.
Probably a couple of weeks.
Okay, so they've been in for a couple of weeks? Okay, so since Vic has already stated that he would no longer be hugging people without specifically asking them in his response to IO9, Vic has stated that he's already fulfilled everything you've said. He's pursuing counseling.
Hold on.
No, wait, I'm just, no. This is not. No. Okay.
You just brought up the hugging thing again. And what right now is happening is Vic is not accused. The reason he got fired, the reason he got dropped from cons was not because he was hugging people. It wasn't because he randomly kissed an attendee or two. That's not why he got fired. And
why did he get fired then? Why did he get fired and dropped from cons?
I don't know, Mr. I know everything.
I don't. You've told me over and over that you do know, and I don't. So why don't you say it? Why was he dropped from cons? You said everybody knows, and so I've laid out what everybody knows is that he's been accused of hugging and kissing and making people feel uncomfortable. Okay, Vic has already said he won't do that in his responses to IO9 that they didn't publish, but that have been subsequently leaked. He already said he wasn't going to be doing that anymore because he now realizes that even though he meant nothing by it, that's not what's considered socially acceptable anymore. So he's already said that. You said the rules have already changed. He's already going to counseling. He's fulfilled every single thing you've said. I'm asking when the rules changed, because you said they've already changed. You've said you could invite him to 4 conventions today. You said you want to help Vic. You said this is the conversation he needs to have. So why haven't you had that conversation and invited Vic to 4 conventions? I mean, he's already publicly stated all of these things, so I'm sure he would agree to them in private.
You know what? As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to actually invite him to 4 conventions, but what I will do right now is I will draft an email right this second.
Why don't you just invite him to 4 conventions? Why not? You keep leaving these little speeches. You're Vic's best friend. Hold on. No, the problem with this conversation is you're saying all of these things and never backing one up. You say you're Vic's best friend.
So the problem with this conversation is I literally just, and you can screen share, I literally just pulled up Outlook and was starting to write an email to Vic. But you are just a petulant little jerk. And I'm sitting here and I pulled up an email to Vic and I'm sitting here telling you online, hey, let me go ahead and write an email to Vic and let me go ahead and invite him to a con. But it doesn't work for your viewers. It doesn't work for your fan base.
You said you weren't going to invite him to a con.
I have the email up right now.
I'm just going off of what you said. I can't see your email, and I certainly don't want to.
No, you're not. You are doing this for viewers. Just admit it.
No, I'm not. I wasn't going to stream tonight. I don't usually do this on Sunday. You said, why don't you have me on? We'll talk about it. So I said, okay.
You're doing this for viewers, and I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, when Vic starts getting invited back to cons, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell all your viewers here right now, and there's some of your viewers may already know this, some don't. I'm going to write an email as soon as I hang up with you. And it is going to be from me personally to Vic. And I still have his email address from 1.5 years ago when I sent him his last contract. And I will right this second send an email to Vic. And everyone at my convention sees it because it's public. I will send this email to Vic inviting him to a con.
What con and what date?
Well, we haven't actually picked the dates for next year yet, but I'll go ahead and invite him to it. He doesn't actually need the dates just yet because we haven't decided on the venue yet, but I'll go ahead and invite him to the con. It'll be in legal contract that I can go ahead and write with him because you're big on the contract things. I'll go ahead and send him an email.
Not big on the contract things. Oh my God.
Now, stop. Dude, for someone who actually has no control over anything, stop getting so fussy. I will send him an email right now inviting him to a convention in 2019. And I will be the first person who is willing to give him a shot and bring him back. And I will start his PR Vic is coming back tour. I am more than happy to do that. I will be the person that does that. I'll send him an email tonight. You can go talk to Vic's law firm that you say that you talked to. Ask them, did they get a message from me under my name? And they're going to tell you yes.
Vic's law firm is going to get a message from you?
Vic is going to get a message from me. So I'm assuming if you talk to his law firm, they can ask him and Vic will say, hey, I just got a message from Shane last night. You can go ahead and talk to his law firm and they'll get a message from me. Directly.
Why don't you just, you could just type it up on stream. We could screen share it. Yeah, we could screen share it. You could type it up right now, right?
As a matter of fact, yes. Well, it's going to take me a minute to actually come up with the rules that we're going to have to put behind this. But I'll tell you what.
I thought the rules were already in place. Oh, my God. Sorry. Nope. Go ahead.
I have to type up the rules in the email. I'll tell you what. I will write this email, and then I will make a screenshot of the email after I send it, and I will screenshot it with the date on the bottom right of my computer, and I will Twitter DM it to you, marking out Vic's email address, and I will Twitter DM the email to you so that you can see it, that I have sent an email to Vic personally saying that he is invited to convention next year, and you can see all the rules behind it. I will do that tonight, and I will send it, and I will Twitter DM the screenshot of this email to you. And then if you don't believe me or you think I'm faking it, you are more than welcome to call his law firm, have them talk to Vic, and ask them did he receive an email from me? And I guarantee you, they will talk to him, and he will say, "Yeah, I got the email from Shane."
All right, which con? You don't have to give a date.
This one's actually called Nomikai Dallas. It is in Dallas, and Vic is in Dallas often. And I will send him the rules, and if he is okay with it. And we have Nomikai already made a statement that we were going to be working with Vic, but I am perfectly willing, if we can come up with the rules. All right, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that because I don't want you to jump on it. if Vic is willing to follow certain rules, I am willing to give Vic a chance. I am willing. And once I give him a chance on this, then I will talk to all the other shows that I'm head of guest services for. And there's at least 4 other shows I'm head of guest services for. And I will talk to those other shows and say, hey, guess what? Vic did a great job. Let's go ahead and invite him back to the shows. I am more than willing to do that. So I'll send an email tonight, and we will end up seeing what happens. I am willing to do that because at the end of the day, this is not about me. It's not about you. It's not about 1,000 Twitter wars that are going on the internet. This is about a guy who's been in the industry almost as long as I've been involved in it. Me and Vic, he's older than me, but we have both been in the same industry for 20-something years, and we've both been in the same building numerous times over the last 20-something years. And I believe that everyone can change, and everyone's PR appearance can change. And I am willing to work with Vic on changing that appearance, changing the problems that people see in him, to the point that he can get invited back to conventions and he can get back to the things that he actually loves doing and get back to actually seeing his fans again. And I will work with him. And this is live on your podcast, and you've got 44,000 attendees that are watching this right now. I am absolutely willing to be the first step in this cog of getting him back into doing this stuff. So I'll send that email as soon as we hang up. I'll write it up. I'll proofread it. I'll send it to Vic because I still have his email address. I just posted it. Well, I posted a screenshot showing I had his email address earlier tonight, but I'll send it directly to Vic, and we will see what happens from there. So what do you want to say now?
I want to. So you mentioned earlier there's a bunch of people watching. They're all talking about how this is going in the chat. I would love to see it because there is a feature on YouTube called Super Chat, and there's a feature on YouTube called Justice Chat where people can go ahead and send messages. So I
am sorry, but there's much like a lot of the convention owner chats that I'm involved in on. There are certain things that you are not allowed to see, and when I talk in Discord chat with the people.
What? No. I'm not talking about your chat. I'm talking about my chat.
Let's go ahead and see your chat.
Okay, I'm going to start reading them. These are people who paid money to say something. Okay, so I'm going to burn through them. True American Hero says, have you ever played Titan Quest? Ink Penification says, I just have one thing to say. Hey, Shane, Imo Shindiru. My Japanese is probably off.
I don't know what that is.
X Dalek says, the best lawyer on Twitter, ATM. Guns Beer Freedom says, Mr. Holmberg, if you're hearing this, Red, it means Nick did not cancel and you owe me $500 for the bet you made on Twitter.
I heard that one earlier.
Please DM me and I'll provide my Zelle. Do hurry, I have a gun show this weekend. Blaine says, as promised, not Sandow says, on time and heterosexual. Wargame 341 said, this case with Vic reminds me of the old case involving a metal band from Poland called Decapitated, where they are accused of gang rape, which later came out the accuser lied, charges were dropped. Keck7Go says, hi Shane, hope you're doing well, and thank you for coming this evening to entertain us. But before I judge you as a man, I have to know one very important thing. Who is your favorite chaos god? That's a Warhammer 40k question.
I never actually played.
Okay, then just pick Slanesh. That's a good one.
All right, I'll pick Slanesh.
Sakaki Onse says, ask him about tortious interference. Jay Baslinsky says, I already don't like this guy. Scary Things Are Scary says, what's with this guy? Slater Danger, do not trust this man. He's an ass on Twitter. Scary Things Are Scary says, screenshot this guy. Veggie Bad says, by harassment, does he mean criticism? The Spaz Cow says, beta. Comes and goes. That's in all caps. That's why I said it that way. Comes and goes says, be nice, folks. Let's hear his thought process. Wind Ghostman says, literally, no you. X Dalek says, my IQ dropped from hearing this guy speak. NW says, beta. Sir Aussie says, what a cucklord. Honestly, like these people never have done anything hostile. I doubt that we are the loudest while they're loudly blaming us. These are from a while back. Vidmaster.
He's actually got it. He's actually. Can you read that last tweet again?
He says, what a cucklord. Honestly, like these people never done anything hostile. I doubt that we are the loudest while they're loudly blaming us.
Well, I mean, I don't agree with the last part or the first part, but I mean, he actually has a point he actually has a very valid point, which is the only reason I would be willing to any way whatsoever entertain this notion. But he actually has a point. And there's a lot of things, a lot of your viewers, I don't know what the age group demographic of your viewers are, but I've been around this industry for well over 30 years at this point. I've been doing this for well over 30 years, and I'm going to have to agree with some of them that there was a point that people hung out, partied, and stuff like that 20, 30 years ago. And there's actions that people engaged in, which, they were never actually okay, but there's actions that people engaged in that they would never get called out on. I'm just going to put it that way. Whether your guests call it social justice warrior or whatever, there's ways that people behaved 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and there's things that you can't do anymore. And over the course of the last 20 years, society in itself has changed. There's a lot of things that people used to do. There's a lot of ways that people used to act. We used to be fucking fools like 20 years ago. We were fools. I was a fool. Vic was a fool. I mean, there's a lot of things we did 20 something years ago, which aren't okay today. I'm gonna leave it at that, and your viewers are gonna understand what I'm saying. There's things that people did, just their everyday behavior, which was the way that people acted back then, and it's not accepted anymore at all. Okay. It's not necessarily okay back then, but now it's definitely not okay. And unfortunately, my personal opinion is and this is just my personal opinion, is that Vic is one of those people. I mean, he's 56 years old. I mean, me and Vic grew up in different times. Things were different 20, 30 years ago. You didn't, and I don't want to get into the whole social justice warrior aspect of this. I really don't right now. What I am going to say is that the things that people did back then, 10 years, because you hear issues about Vic from 10 years ago. Everyone's heard it. 10, 20, everyone says it's been going on for a decade, and it has. What I'm going to say is
it's been going on for a decade then.
What I'm going to say is that behavior that people have, there was a point where no one would actually say anything about it because it was just just the way it was. And my personal opinion is that Vic has gotten caught up into a situation where the way that he's always been wasn't necessarily okay then, but it's definitely not okay now.
Gotcha.
I want to leave it at that.
Okay. Crackbot says, be careful, Nick, you are debating a potato. Let's see.
Do your fans really not want me to be helping Nick out? Because the insults aren't helping.
To be fair, these were 2 hours ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
All right. So next, Vidmaster Eon says, toxic is a telltale in PC sign. Create your own thoughts or buy a thesaurus. Siren Jag says, Jersey Devil has a question asking which voice actor this guy dated. Jersey Devil says this could be very, very relevant.
It's not relevant. I'm not going to tell you.
There you go. Dubler says, what a tool Vic would have, and again, these are from a while back, you have to remember. Okay. Because remember, you said that the chat was on your side. So I want to point that out. Dubler says, what a tool Vic would have ended up like the ridiculously high number of other men whose reputations have been devastated by these victims. Justice, not social justice, must be allowed to prevail. Al says, when did Mundane Matt work for fun? Funimation. Can't Rough the Fluff says, this guy loves his tendies. That's a joke about attendees. When you kept saying attendees, that's just a pun. Richard Ty says, ooh, get him. The Spaz Cow says, no lube, take it, soy boy. Andrew War Snowboard says, this guy is worse than J Soy.
Why are you even reading some of this stuff on the air? Why are you reading like some of these comments even on the air? Is these are the fans that you're okay with?
People paid to make them. That's just an agreement to the show. People pay to say stuff, and I go ahead and say it because they paid for it.
All right.
Vulpix says, stop fighting mom and dad. Vidmaster Eon says, conspiracy theorist is code for critical thinker. Xdalek says, when you argue with a lawyer and your IQ is below average. Lance Bautista says, this made my day. The Spaz Cow says, not sending their best. Rando number 9 says, press 1 to confirm Nick is our leader. Ren says, F YouTube's cut. This guy is a brainlet. Super Iron Bob says, this guy is furthering my personal experience that the people who run fandom conventions should not be trusted. Comes and Goes says, uh-oh, he's going for the Destiny Shuffle. Oak 1971 says, finish him, Nick. Siren Jag says, Nick is my buddy. He isn't my leader. This isn't Lord of the Flies yet. Sakaki Onsai says, good night, everyone. Shane has been owned like a piece of jewelry. Shane isn't a lawyer. He's a nozzle. Xdalek says, this guy still thinks Nick is a fake lawyer. Happy Hobbit.
These guys said this 2 hours ago before they even actually saw the podcast.
This one says an hour ago. It's an approximation. I don't know the exact timestamp. I'm just going by what my Streamlabs archives these. And so once it gets past a certain point in an hour, it would count as 2 hours ago. We're in an hour ago now. So somewhere between probably an hour and a half. Happy Hobbit says they're not sending their best. Amenthi says, now this is pod racing. Richard Fitzwell says, wreck it rackets. James Mansfield says, bringing non-lawyers on just makes them look stupid. Rendrick says, please continue dry docking the smooth brain. YouTube made great again, says, burn him, Nick. Rax Hero says, Jesus, is soy boy clapping needs to be a meme. JC says, well, here's some dosh to order you a drink. The Shane fellow looks like a lamer version of Kurt Eichenwald, aka the hentai tentacles guy.
Well, I mean, you've said soy like a whole bunch of different times at this point, and I understand that you're just in it for the money, and that's cool. I mean, I understand that's what you're in this for. But
you don't have to stay.
Yeah, so I'm not going to. Go ahead and finish talking to your listeners and making your money, and I'm pretty much out of here. I'm going to do my thing, and have a good night, sir, which, anyways.
I will. Thanks for coming on. I hope it went exactly as you planned it to. Oh, he left. He left us. But that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay. So let's finish these super chats. Thank you all for joining. I know, guys, I'm sorry. I am so sorry that I so badly lost that conversation. He sure got me. He showed me. I'm definitely wrong on all of the law. He's written a contract. He's been in court in Texas, so he definitely knows how to Google a page that he's never read and read the wrong thing. He got it. Nailed it. Stick it. 10 out of 10. Let's get through these chats. And after this, guys, I am going to learn to code harder than anyone has ever learned to code. I will be dyeing my hair blue. I will be railing for the Whammons. We will be saving the East. Not that we can't save the West. I will become the control left's lawyer. Again, I will no longer bow and cater to the alt-right. I will no longer defend free speech. I won't do anything. So here we go. Let's read these chats. Let's see how, because guys, the chat was on his side, and when I look back, I'm going to see it. So well that he had to leave. So here we go. Chase Dice, 150K for the discovery in the Vic case. How much money to get some discovery from YouTube or Twitter? Know the garbage is there, just have to get it in court. Dirk Limon says, who is this soy boy? Why does he flail his arms so much? Anyway, when does the grooming start, dear leader? Olron1 says, someone call the police because I'm witnessing a murder. Dayum. Jake Bill says, soy boy just read this off his screen. Oh, he did. It's so embarrassing that not only did he not know what he was talking about, but that the people feeding him the information clearly, I guess he didn't know he was on camera staring at Discord, not listening. The people feeding him the information were wrong. The people who didn't have to talk, who didn't have anything other than to just Google and fish him the links or whatever he needed to say, they were embarrassingly wrong. Okay? Oh my gosh. Chris Primer says, Dunzo Manifesto, get wrecked, nerd. Rogue Mike says, this soy is trying to fish for info for Kick Vic. Well, little did he know. All he had to do was ask. I'd say the same thing over and over. Good job on that guy. Let's see, what's next? Rando number 9 says the hashtag KickVic side isn't sending their best. James Mansfield, kick this guy. He is outclassed. Worthless. Darkman McEdgeface, one whose heart is weighed down by gravity cannot grasp such concepts as truth and law. Hashtag Hail Xeon. Hashtag Lawmite. Hashtag US Law of Smash. Scary Things Are Scary says this guy is worse than Soiku. Brandon says, yikes, secondhand embarrassment. Gay and Still at Large says, God be good. Nick has this devolved so fast. I hope you have enough super chats to buy all the whiskey. For my part, I don't have nearly enough booze to be as stupid as this guy. By the way, press 1 in the chat if that guy was hammered out of his mind for this discussion. Like, and believe me, I love getting hammered for a discussion. I only had 1 glass of whiskey because I couldn't believe what was going on, but that guy sounded like he was a little sloshed. And if he was, good job, buddy. Always have fun. Always have fun. Mithrin Emmer says, Nick, this dude is focused on the specific things over which Vic can sue. You are talking about the process in general. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty apparent. Carl Sembrano says, the other guy is doing the what is a photocopier? Yeah, sure was. Mega Vigroth says, to be fair, Vic may want to make a comeback without taking heads. Shockingly, the legal process allows this. I talked about it in my last video. And Funimation has Funimation and Sony have every opportunity and motivation, I would say, to do that and cut the VAs loose. But what do I know? I've never been in court in Texas. I mean, I can accurately cite Texas law. I can accurately relay the elements of all of these laws, but I've never been there, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the legal system is all just feelings. Woodman Gaming says, oh my, look, he went with ad hominem attacks against Nick's credibility. Nice. Mike Leon says, this is like watching Tyson fight an infant. Vidmaster Eon says, when will cucks like this guy learn that snarky Twitter clapbacks are not arguments in real life? Please God, never. Vulpix says, hashtag brainlet. Logan Dark Lighter says, never interrupt when the other guy is making mistakes. Please keep him talking. He just makes his own side worse off. That's a fair criticism, but he was so boring. Chase Dice says, also, this guy is a brainless twat, point and laugh. Eden1223 says, people from Minnesota are nice. This guy managed to piss one off. Have fun, buddy. You're going to regret it. Lol, lol. Lance Bautista donated but didn't have a message. Thank you so much. Mithrin Emmer says, Nick has the right to speculate, you brainlet. He has said that in every single video, you giant dummy. You are pathetic. Thank you for saying that, so I didn't have to. Kaiko Yayoi says he wanted you to leak information on Vic's case. Shockingly, I'm not Vic's attorney, and I don't have any privileged information. I just don't. If I did, I couldn't tell you anyway. That's the funniest part, is if I knew anything privileged, I wouldn't be able to say it, and I'm certainly not going to leak it to that guy. Woodman Gaming says, are you inerrant, Nick? Are you? No, but I try really hard to be, and I always lead with my mistakes. So if he would have pointed one out, I would love to lead with it. I'm happy to do it. The last time I led with a mistake was so much fun. So much fun. J. Dodd, this guy has embarrassed the human race. Darth Bobcat, wow, he really thinks he has you, doesn't he? He sure seemed to. RZEQDW says, this is just to spite that R-tard. That's AR tard, so assault rifle tard. YouTube won't let me say the real word. Malachi Tomlinson says, looks at phone, sees notification, clicks, immediate yelling and screaming. Jesus, dude, wreck 'em, Rekieta. Also, love to see you on LWC or Ben Shapiro. That would be fun. Absolutely. I'd love to talk to Ben. Or who's LWC? I don't know who that is, but I'd talk to them too. I talk to everybody. Even weirdos online. David Alexander says, our new friend is going to learn about a man named Zoom. Hope there's no skeletons in that closet. I sure hope not. No one needs to bother that guy. That guy did enough damage to himself. Did you hear him? Did you hear him suggest that 20 years ago at his own conventions that he was doing things that are not acceptable then or now, but no one talked about it? Did anybody hear Shane, what's his last name? Jacobson? Did anybody hear Shane say, 20 years ago, we were doing things and they weren't acceptable then, and they're certainly not acceptable now? What on earth? How is this guy? This guy is running conventions for 20 years. He's been covering up unacceptable behavior at conventions, as he stated. Wow. Wow. Oh, Louder with Crowder is LWC. I'd love to talk to Crowder, man. That'd be fun. But oh my goodness. I cannot believe that guy said that. I think the clip shows might have fun with that one. Zypher Warrior says, we already know he was speculating. Wow. Of course I'm speculating. If I had privileged information, would I go on YouTube and just say it? Oh my goodness. Keck7 Go, we are not lemmings who dance to the tune of Nick, even if he is our YouTube daddy and master. Thanks, Keck. Darth Bobcat says, yo, Mr. Shatner, you admit you only pretend to be a captain. Why should we believe anything you say after you're so discredited? Rax the Hero says, make him pay that $2,000 to the GoFundMe for Vic. I was thinking about it. I should have said that. Erica OO says, yikes, this dude is an idiot. Erica OO, you tell him, Nick. Let's see. Hackle BS. Nick is legit. It didn't take much for me to verify this. No, it's almost as if you look at all at the right page that issues licenses in Minnesota, you can find me in a matter of moments. You could just Google attorney lookup Minnesota and click on the one that's actually the attorney lookup, and you'll find me. Don't go to the ads, of course. Go to the Supreme Court. You can find me. I have to be there. Okay. Taco Jones. Nick talks slower. She clearly cannot understand big words. Try to explain the concept like you would to a 10. No, an 8-year-old. Erica OO says, I would be angry too. Super Iron Bob says, how much longer till this guy hits China with all his digging? He's through China. He's into the stratosphere on the other side. The End says he is so dismissive. What is his law experience? Zero. I mean, zero. I'd love to talk to Infinite Elgensity, man. That guy's great too. Xdalek says, these are the type of people who are on hashtag KickVic. Feel good always 990. This guy is actually painful to watch. Shane cannot be this insanely incompetent. Rhino, this guy says he had cases and won. Name them. No, he's not going to, of course. Brandon says, plus he's arguing contract. Like he said, I've argued contract disputes or whatever. What contract issues are you arguing? This is not small claims court where you have a small claims contract. Rhino says this guy, oh, wait. Brandon says the Chad lawyer versus the virgin Twitter expert. Chris Primer, alt-right. Yeah, of course, name the alt-right. He wanted to so badly. You appeal to the alt, the really bad people. Erica00, this man hurts my brain with his idiotic words. Hackle BS, he never claimed to know what Vic is doing, only what he could do, you idiot. I mean, it's almost like I do this publicly all the time. Mithrin Emmer says this dude is a child. Woodman Gaming says, did he just allege I'm alt-right? Are you serious? The blackface lawyer defense? Christ? Queen Nidus says, people like this that don't understand the inner workings of the law make me believe in eugenics more and more. Please euthanize him, sterilize him. Mike Lombardo, I'm speechless with how stupid this guy is. Wow. Things are going very well. Andrew Schaefer, I just took a dump that had a higher IQ than this moron. Giulio Cavallati donated but didn't have a message. Thank you so much for that. The End, his credentials, it's on the internet. Google, it must be true. Lol, is this guy real? Rauru the Red Mage says, you just popped my super berry cherry. Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be your first. Don't Don't be a stranger. YouTube Made Great Again says, wait, did he just say he isn't a lawyer? Yeah, he's definitely not a lawyer. That guy is not a lawyer in any stripe. And if he was, I would have concerns. I would have many concerns if that guy said he was a lawyer. Pony Cordero says, oof, shekels for wasted time. I could have played 5 games of Leagues of Legends waiting for this buffoon to answer a question. Also, this is speculation. You tricked me, Nick. I tricked you by saying outright what it was. Andrew War Snowboard, I'm not a lawyer. Let me tell a lawyer the law. It always goes well. Protoman says, you are just a YouTube lawyer. Goru, just Googled it. Took me 5 seconds to realize there are 2 different causes of action in TI. Wow. Jesse N. Nick, who is this beta cuck? That was Shane something. Scary things are scary. He's a super Soyan. ISJ322, the alternative motives on this guy is so plain as day. He's mad you're not a leftist believing women blindly. How dare you defend the heretics? Well, it's a curse. Chris Primer says, send my regards to Kiwi Farms. Oh, man. Heimatlo says, YouTube lawyer / studio gangster, Ray's Devastator. I've never seen someone handle a sabotaging troll like this before. I've been keeping track of you, but this is the first time I've ever donated on a YouTube stream. You give us all hope for humanity. Thank you so much. Queen Nida says, this is why I pirate my animes. Piracy will serve the industry by forcing Japan's hand to find politically neutral dubbing studios. Don't admit that because, Funimation's lawyer is a person who hunts down pirates. So that was, you only pirate anime and Minecraft. Stephen Loomis donated, didn't say anything. Thank you so much. Fancy Flight says, this dude's a troll. Seth, this is so unfortunate. What an unfortunate person. Overkillery says, Shane, you are too stupid. Tabby296, I'm so sorry for you guys. Me too. Stand with Vic says, I'm in law school. This guy sounds like a 1L gunner arguing with the professor. How in the world can someone be so absolutely confidently dumb? I don't know. Hopefully you're talking about him, not me. Your name is Stand with Vic. Now he stands with Vic too. Remember, he's got the good strategy. The good strategy that all sorts of people try, right? Vic, just go away for a while. It'll be fine. Come out and admit that you raped everybody. That'll be okay. And then the cons will have you back, buddy. They'll do it. They'll do it. Don't worry about that reputation that you spent 2 decades doing. You can start over if you just apologize hard enough. It worked for everybody else to just apologize hard enough. Michael Watson says, I'm honestly ashamed to be the same species as this brainlet. How is it possible for someone to be this stupid? Thank you, Nick, for exposing this fool. It is my pleasure. Avatar of Big Gay says, what is this dude's dodge build? All dodge. All dodge all day. Lamo Content Gay says, this guy is a boomer and a soy boy, lol. Mechazard says, murder weapon, Nick the Knife Rekieta. Barry Blutnick says, Lex prays upside down to a stuffed bat. The Haunter says, this guy drafts contracts. I'd rather hire someone to tie a noose for me. It would have the same effect. Queen Nida says, he about to go Super Saiyan, 4 blue balls. This is why Team 4-star is the only dub I need. Rando number 9. Insert Dame Pesos Chilean laughing here. Oh, I wish I had Dame on soundboard. Canonist Coma says, I'm not a bad person. Also using you are just a YouTube X to discredit and shame someone with a professional degree is a bad argument. Well, I mean, to be fair, he's not really a stranger to bad arguments. Rendrek says, I'm getting irrationally angry listening to this imbecile. He keeps riding on the obvious fact that you're not Vic's lawyer. Stephen Loomis says, Coin Match Corp versus Aspenwood Apartment Corp, Texas. Thank you, Stephen Loomis. Mega Vigoroth says, this money could have gone to the GoFundMe. Oh, that's actually depressing. And unfortunately, I cannot donate to the GoFundMe. I can't do it. It would be considered fraudulent. It's against GoFundMe's terms of service. But I will make a private donation to Vic's fund outside of the GoFundMe. But, you have to take my word on it. Jesse N says, seriously, Nick, who is this beta cucks? Kita says, did you know this man might be a Funimation employee? He's their PR guy, per Twitter. Well, if that guy's Funimation's PR guy, I doubt he is. Guys, real quick, there's been a lot of false information about people's roles at Funimation. including like Jamie Marchi's husband. People said Ron Toye is employed at Funimation. Don't take any of those at face value. They're likely honeypots, satire and sarcasm for a gotcha moment. Just ignore that stuff. We go on the facts that we know, right? That's what we do. This guy couldn't even understand that when you when you enter into a lawsuit or litigation, you go on the publicly available facts, and there is more than enough. There's a gold mine of these people. It's all archived in my email and in my Twitter DMs. I probably have 15 copies of every single thing that has been said by any related party. So there's plenty. There's a mountain of it. JW McClure donated but did not say anything. Thank you so much. Big Small says this is why eugenics is a good idea. Scary things are scary, says hashtag fridge guy. Darth Bobcat says this guy loves ad hominems. Thane Cotter says nobody has accused Vic of murder, therefore Nick is invalid. X Dalek says Nick deserves money also. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jay Buzlinski says, Nick, isn't it ethically questionable for you to speak that way to the mentally handicapped? Only if I'm representing them or representing someone against them. ISJ322 says, Nick, you hired this dude. Super chats don't lie. I wish I was that smart, man. That would have been brilliant. I was going to just go to bed because it's Sunday and I typically stream Monday to Friday. This guy said he wanted to come on. Well, I mean, why not have him on? I figured it'd be a fun show. I didn't think there would be over 5,000 people watching. Thank you, of course, for that. I really do appreciate it. Hack the Movies says, holy poop, the leather on his chair is all shredded. WTF, get a new chair, dude. Mithrin Emrys says, the autism is strong with this one. Rendrek says, he's being coached. Yep, he sure, not very well. Fire that coach. Blaine says, any smart lawyer on the outside would avoid too much contact with the plaintiffs and possible defendants. Yeah, of course. Like what? And would the plaintiff's attorney tell me privileged information? Like what would they be doing? They will treat me as a member of the press, obviously. TLJ Screwjob says this guy can't be serious. He's getting milk on a debate in front of 4,800 people. To quote Billy Madison, everyone in this room is now dumber because of what you just said. I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul. Woodsman Gaming says, listen, idiot, here's what Nick has said. He said the ideas he has are how he would go about it, not how they are going to or are. James Bays says this guy talks and acts like a 12-year-old girl, lol. Bill Keller says this is a poor attempt at damage control. Yeah. Tiger Vibration says, spell things out, guest. Quit the authority appeals. No, I mean, what else does he have to go to? Heimatlos says, soy Vader sniff sniff. Darkman McEdgeface says he has a side chat open. He's being coached. Yeah. That was obvious with this. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. Oh my goodness. Kidda says, retracting previous super chat. PR employee claim was apparently a misunderstanding. Okay, thank you. Also, this guy said he helps write Funimation's contracts. Does that scare you? It scares me that Funimation would have someone like that writing their contracts, but, you know, I guess more power to them. C says, this MFer is trying to scare you away from talking about Vic suing. He is friends with those SJW maggots. Well, was it that transparent? I mean, he stopped just short of attempting to ask me to stop talking about it, which would have been, of course, you know, extortion. I'll invite Vic if you stop talking about it. That would have been funny. That would have been funny to commit extortion in public, but he did not. That was good. I'm glad he didn't. I thought that's where he was going to go because I thought that he wasn't thinking clearly. But I'm glad he is inviting Vic to a convention. Props to him. I'll wait for the email or whatever, the tweet. Jesse N says, it's true. This man has no pen, ! S. Matthew Rivard says, sniff. Gunsbeer Freedom 87 says, yes. Who would want to talk about the law with a lawyer on a legal show? What kind of sense would that make? I don't know. Not enough people. WizKid HV says, people, timestamp Nick's words after the stream and lay down the facts onto Shane's Twitter afterwards. Seems like he's a bit too heated to listen. Daytalk says, this guy is insignificant and I can't listen to it. Oh, I'm sorry, pal. I'm sorry. Your mom's box X says, Dunning-Kruger incarnate. Lady Cat says, it'd be less rude to the viewers if you blow your nose, sir. Thanks for the entertainment, Nick. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Marty Lund says, the stink of desperation is amazing. They have no legal legs to stand on, so they just double down on these media scams, trying to head off the lawsuit and the GoFundMe. They know discovery is fatal. Darian the Ghoul says, if this guy is representing Funny is truly in boiling water. He is truly embarrassing. Jake Bill says he's trying to, quote, create peace because we're winning. Goru says, stop it. He's already dead. The God of Orphan says, this has to be a troll. I can't actually believe my eyes. I thought the same thing. There's no way. There was no way that guy was serious. But apparently he was. Enter the name here. Bohemian says, that guy doesn't understand what these terms mean in law. These are specified in books and dictionaries. It doesn't matter what someone thinks. It matters what law states. They are terms of art. Absolutely. REDGE says, for someone who staffed and volunteered at 5 conventions internationally, this some guy from Twitter is embarrassing. The work that we put in, and it feels insulting. Reason why there's not enough good people that staff. Queen Nidus says, whoa, hold up. These F-boys gaslighting Vic behind the scenes. Someone get on that ASAP. They're trying to mess with legal action he is taking. I mean, I'm guessing Vic's lawyers will be happy to know that there are people out there maybe trying to influence Vic's activity. But, you know, not that that's actionable necessarily. It depends in what capacity they're doing it. I mean, I would hate to see someone who organizes a convention and knows that Vic is represented by counsel attempting to talk to Vic without talking to his counsel. I mean, that seems silly, but you know, yeah, they'll be happy to know that who this person is, at least so they can figure out what's going on, I'm guessing. Danny Boy says, I just can't. He wants to just tell them to stop. That's his plan. Brilliant PR. Only the best PR here, ladies and gentlemen. Whomstead says, props for dealing with this idiot. The pleasure is all mine. Tange says his Discord chat told him to shut up. Did they really? Oh God, that would be so funny. I wish there were screenshots of that. Tiger Vibration says, let him die in obscurity to save him. DK Donkey Thong says, you're a hack, alt-right, are you mad? Professional, sure. Iron Mater says, Rekieta kills again. I'm going to be investigated soon for the serial YouTube massacres. Hessian says, I don't believe he's an honest actor. Well, of course he's not an honest actor. No way the Kick Vic people will be willing to talk to someone who's also talking to Vic. He's a shill for their side, either concern trolling or sabotaging. Jesse N says, Nick, is this guy a wannabe gatekeeper? Apparently. Again, if he's PR for the firms, I think the firms should be questioning maybe, or not the firms, the cons. The cons, like, whew. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm only taking him at his word. I hope he's not serious. Vidmaster Eon says, these filth are not sorry for their actions. They are sorry they got caught. This cuck is trying to take advantage of Vic's good nature in order to save their butts. Yep. Sure looks like it, doesn't it? You know, Vic doesn't want to do this. Vic doesn't want to do this. Vic doesn't want to do this. I mean, maybe Vic doesn't want to do this. Keep telling yourself that Vic doesn't want to do it. Stand with Vic says, hey, Vic, we labeled you a harasser. We will help. I mean, if that's not transparent, like, look, I could invite you to 4 cons right now, which means I disinvited you from 4 cons right now. But let me just tell you how to help. How we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it better. Oak 1971 says, guy lives in a closet. You know, I'm never going to shame someone for their living quarters. Crestfallen says, never fall for the fool's apology strategy. Of course not. That's the dumbest basic Becky strategy I've ever heard. What he laid out was, I mean, oh man, it doesn't work. Vic literally already did this, right? He issued 2 statements. He's recorded issuing a statement from a con. He already did it, and they still knifed him. They still stick it in the corpse over and over. Of course it's not gonna work. It already hasn't. What a dense person. Darth Bobcat says, different person now. Ask Kevin Hart how that goes. Yeah. Dave, right. Works really well all the time. Dave, aka Dodge, says, it's people like this that make me lose faith in humanity. Does he realize what he's even saying? I think I'm losing brain cells watching this. Andrew War Snowboard says, Shane, more like shame. Mithrin Emmer says, his grand strategy, Vic admits he was wrong and go on a grand apology tour. It sure worked for Kevin Spacey. Gingerfinger says, ask the guy if he stands up to wipe. His chair is a mess. Also, Vic is an awkward week. Might as well ban the whole industry. Keck7Go says, am I in Bizarro World? WTF is this stream? Keem effing rescue me. Andrew Schaefer says, Vic shouldn't admit to things he didn't do. I agree. Power Bottom says, lol, he's pretending to be a Vic supporter to try and convince the community that a lawsuit would be a bad idea. Sad, these people are terrified of a lawsuit, which means Vic should 100% sue. Brandon says, the amount of damage control, deflecting, projecting, and mind gymnastics from this Twitter expert is legendary. Mellow E says, GD, I want Nikki Boy representing me in court. Cursed Lunchbox says, I really don't want us to ignore that at one point this guy was losing his argument so badly, he looked for help in the fridge. Stand with Vic says, what this guy wants is Vic to submit to them. Of course, they always want the control. They always want the control. Akazit says, I am the law. Nick Rekieta, February 25th, 2019. Sexy bearded Viking wizard, the BA Aussie, says, so this fellow is offering up the ostrich defense? Yep, just hide in the sand. Lol. Daytalk says, this guy is cold diarrhea in a Dixie cup. Gross. Ew. Korn says, waiting for this effer's internet to cut out, and then he tried to say Nick hung up. No, he stayed through some of the response to what he was saying. Jesse N says, seriously, who is this beta cuck? I don't know. He's some guy, Shane. I honestly thought that no one would watch the show because it was last minute and he was nobody, but I guess he's got the big pull. Thanks, guys. Mithrin Emmer says, perhaps a person could accompany Vic shouting shame, shame as he goes around warning people GTFO. GRP Poll says, we create new shows without this beta cuck. The God of Orphans says, notice he won't say what Vic would have to change because he knows it would be defamation and actionable. He's playing dumb. I don't think he was playing. To be fair, I don't think he was playing. The Doug Walker says, this guy wants a victim to admit to the accusations or no more work for you, Vic. People have been forced to confess to crimes they never commit or they get the chair. Same thing. Yep. The Traveler says this is more painful than Young Bluth and Ethan debate. I agree. My heart, it hurts. Schwann's Gruberman says this guy basically wants Vic to plead guilty and bend the knee to the kick Vic side instead of suing them to find out if this is all bull. Who is he talking to? Gingerfinger says never argue with a lawyer. Seriously? Well, not about the law. Argue about something no lawyers understand, like math. Uchiha Kagai says, Nick, please drop this idiot. He's just babbling. Well, I know it was painful to listen to, but you gotta let him talk. You gotta let him talk. They always come around and talk about how 20 years ago they did stuff that wasn't okay. Scrotus Swatch and didn't tell anybody. Scrotus Swatch says, his stream, his choice, you pervert. Yeah, it is my stream. I mean, that's funny. This is my time. Well, I guess if I let you have it. Jesse N. And I let that guy talk quite a bit, if we're being fair. I think I let him talk for several, like 5 to 10 minute segments. They felt like hours. Jesse N. I'm sorry this beta cuck who is acting like a child is being a jerk. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Guys, I defend criminals. I deal with prosecutors, cops, and judges. I'm used to people being jerks. RMD0039 says, all that's happened is he's showing the corruption. Hessian says, that snake is enjoying playing gatekeeper. James Manfield says, Nick kicked this idiot, but first let him finish proving how he changed his convention's rules based on Vic's allegations and strengthens Vic's case. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out which 4 he worked for. So one of them at least is in Texas. Now we know the existence of a contract that was canceled, I guess. Burnt Zapato says, if you don't confess Vic, you get the chair. Basically, this guy's plan to help Vic in a nutshell. Andrew War Snowboard says, Shane, you are a walking, talking stroke. Stand with Vic says, Vic, don't let him extort you to make you look guilty. Man, he can't do that. I really hope he never does. Tani Marie says, Inquisitor Nick, please order an exterminatus on this fool. If not, I'm sending in what's left of the 12th Legion. Aiden Paladin, hey Aiden, what's up? Says, what a POS. Nick is always well-intentioned, not doing it for views or money. I thought maybe we'd have 800 people on. I had no idea. I've never had 5,000 people on a stream, and I'm really, really appreciative, but there's no way I thought we'd get this kind of response. Not doing it for views or money, moron. Good show as always. Flip this dip. He flipped himself. Done played himself. Michael Watson, why not just BCC the email? I mean, you can speculate all day as to why. But, I'll mention to Vic's legal team. I'll say, hey, this guy said he's going to send an email to Vic. You may want to ask him about it because he's going to offer an opportunity. It could be considered a settlement offer, I suppose, in contemplation of litigation. So they'll handle it however they handle it. Crazed Meat says, petulant little jerk, I refuse to answer. You're greedy. Where did that come from? I don't know. But I'll tell you what. Don't be fussy, you shekel lover. I'll give him a chance. Trust me. Majos Nemeris says, so he's going to force Vic to bend the knee and say he's a predator or he'll blacklist Vic? Remember, he's the good guy. Well, I mean, you could look at it that way, I guess. Jesse N donated and said, this guy must be a complete butt when playing Dungeons and Dragons. Tanj donated, says, this is pathetic. Mr. DJ Fly High says, please Vic, do not take Shane's offer. Cat the Jedi 077, this guy is making a butt out of himself. He's not going to show it because he can't. He doesn't know Vic personally. Protoman says, this is extortion. He's offering Vic forgiveness in returns for obeying him. Finish him, Nick. Finish him. He done finished himself. All the way to Greenland. Joseph Kerwin says he's going to invite Vic to a con and he doesn't know the con's name. He did say something. I don't even remember what it was. Who cares? Ultimately, some con in Dallas. Anthony Sears says Vic's email is public. My sisters email him and he doesn't need to hide it. Well, I know that. Devin F says have him do a separate live stream drafting the email and send it. I mean, he's welcome back at any time, but I doubt he'll take that offer. New Type Knight says justice for Vic. Hessian says that that email is bribe or sabotage of some sort. If Vic accepts the rules of this disgusting bully, he implicitly accepts guilt. That will be one of the rules, of course. Make an apology, make a public statement that you're not going to molest someone. That's what it's going to be. And this will sabotage his legal case. He's a plant, Your Honor. He's a shill. Jesse N says, if this guy is Vic's lawyer, he needs a new lawyer. Levi Dubelman says, oh, wow, first step. Wow, such a great human being. Stand with Vic. Vic, this guy is trying to extort you by saying you will get work. Just admit to crimes you didn't commit. He's pandering on Vic's genuine love to just wanting work. Evil snake. He wants the suit dropped. WizKidHV says, extortion. It's funny that you guys in the chat are more aware of what is happening legally than that guy. Onodera says, screen share writing the email. Actions speak louder than words. Well, I can, but I can't. I can, but I can't. Samuel, and of course, if he was going to send me a contract, he'd probably be in violation of an NDA. I'm just guessing. So he'd have to redact everything on the contract. We wouldn't even know if it was Vic's. I mean, I'm guessing if I was writing a contract for a convention to a star, to a celebrity, and it was going to touch hands of agents and handlers and other convention staff, there would be an NDA in it. If I were writing it, he's the contract expert, so I would hope there'd be an NDA. Oh, wait, God. Whew, million degrees. I forgot I could take those off. Whew. So I guess, he was going to say, oh, it can't be disclosed, so I can't send it to you. Samuel Oliverio says, I don't know who this man is. I don't know what he wants. All I know is he's going to a con. Anthony Mendoza, well, in more ways than one. Anthony Mendoza says, tell him he's a snake. T. DeMar, You may want to inform Vic's law firm that this man indirectly admitted to did things he is accused of and then backpedaled. Riding that unicycle. Extortionist donated and said, Vic, this guy is trying to extort you by saying you will get work. Just admit to crimes you didn't commit. He's pandering on Vic's genuine love to just wanting work. Evil snake. He wants the suit dropped. Fancy Flight says, wait, I think I get what this guy is saying. Eric Schaffer says, or Vic could take it to court, be proven innocent in discovery, and then start going back to cons without the stigma from false allegations. Eric Rader says, Nick, let Shane know there will be no truce. It's not up to me, man. It's up to Vic. It's up to Vic. Lamo Content Guy says, yeah, guys, Vic roped a couple of girls, but he chill now. Yeah, again. If they're having Vic admit to sexual exploitation of people at the cons, and then they let him back? No way! Mars Girl, Han Leia, they would have to have a fit. Jamie Markey, Monica Rial, they'd have to cancel, right? There's no way they could ethically mend that fence, right? You can't cross back that bridge. Ooh, that was a backwards saying. That was a Yoda speak. Jennifer says, do the email now and CC Nick into it. You know that wasn't going to happen. He's gonna share a screen share of it, or a screenshot of it. We'll see if it says sent. Zwihu says, why does Shane sound like a devil? Kiss my ring and I will give you your greatest desire. Sharkman 9K says, this whole situation is just another stepping stone down the road to pure chaos. Nothing good will come of it unless Vic burns them down and salts the earth. Stalin Falcon says, holy F, this guy is no friend of Vic. The last 20 minutes, my blood has run cold. Vic needs to change. F you. Mega Vigoroth says, so what if Vic takes the L, stays quiet for 6 months, and then once he's lost all of his fan support, they don't bring him back? Yeah, it's almost like a promise they never, ever have to fulfill. Well, you know, I advocated for you, buddy. I wanted to invite you, but gosh, you know, the public backlash is still strong. Maybe wait another year. Maybe wait another year. They're still complaining about it. Cars in Depth says, which of Shane's wife's boyfriends does Shane like the best? Aiden Paladin says, implicating himself? Woodman Gaming, get to the point already. Rogue Mike, get on with it. He's too busy being coached. He can't talk. Ryan Walter says, I noticed he moved the goalpost from tortious interference of a contract versus tortious interference with business prospects to let's talk about how Vic goes about getting his job back. Of course, so far out of his depth. So embarrassingly out of his depth. And it's only embarrassing because he said he knew. Right? Because normal people don't need to know what Texas rules on tortious interference are. That's why you have lawyers. This guy could have come on and said, you know what, I actually don't have any idea. That would have been at least honest. But no, he said he knew and that I didn't. What a dummy. What a dummy. Plum Logan says, this guy just got Nick bullied into getting Twitter roasted by the outrage mob. He's done. Yeah, I could. That's true. I guess I will get Twitter bullied, but we'll see. Darkman McKedgeface says, ask Shane who he touched. I don't want to know. I don't want to have that information. I'm not Shane's lawyer. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. That's between Shane, God, and whoever else cares. Toph the Goblin says, this clown thinks he's Vic's last hope. About to have a rude awakening. By the way, it's us fans that support the anime industry. Don't piss us off. Yeah. The numbers right now look a lot better for Vic than anybody else, in my opinion. If you look at response, man, Vic's got a lot of support. Vic's got a lot of support. Funimation potentially could be losing a lot of money right now. Joseph Kerwin says the puritanical left is colon cancer. Kidda says he's making a great point about PC culture and Vic maybe being left behind the cultural change. Why couldn't he be like this the whole time? Because it's dishonest. Make no mistake. That whole spiel, that was 1,000% dishonest. That was 1,000% dishonest. This cultural change, I mean, there's a cultural change, but everybody is behind it because it's manufactured. It's manufactured and it hasn't happened in culture. It's happened in social justice world. So it was obscenely dishonest. Futanari Jeff Leonis says 28 female bi and mixed. What's your point? He doesn't have one. Chambers of My Heart says the other VAs have been just as snuggly and huggy as Vic has with their fans. Kissy face and all. Photos have been shown of everyone. Of course they have. Of course they have. Because there's not actually anything wrong with hugging someone and giving them a kiss on the cheek unless they say, you know what, I'm not okay with that. And by all accounts, if anybody ever said anything like that or made any indication to Vic that they weren't comfortable, even by their own accusations, he stopped. What's the allegation here? Nazo13 says, this is honestly painful to watch. What would I expect from the hashtag Kick Vic side? Keep fighting the good fight rackets. Always fight the good fight. Comes and goes. Says, if you knew, why didn't you report? Yeah, well, it was just different times back then. It wasn't okay, but it's different times back then. Well, doesn't seem to matter, does it, if it was different times back then? Strange, now you are speaking out about it when you have to benefit. Yeah. Gay and Still at Large says, I'm only making this donation so I know when to go to sleep. The stream has truly been a roundabout path. I'm sorry about that. I tried to get that guy on task. I don't think he answered a single question about what we were here to talk about. T. Damar says, our personal opinion is you've wasted all of our time, dodged nearly every question directed at you, indirectly admitted he did what he is accused of, and are now trumpeting gatekeeping Vic's career if he changes. Show proof these things occurred. Well, he knows about them. He apparently says he did them. We did these things. We. Now, I don't actually know if Vic is included in that we. I can't say that. I don't know that he could say that. Rustic Night Fawn donated but did not say anything. Thank you so much. Ryan Walters says, it does not help Vic to capitulate to a company and conventions that have defamed his character. Nope. But it does indicate something interesting. They're already... Look at this for what it is, guys. They're thinking about settlement. Now, he's trying to frame settlement on his side as victory, because that's what you do. Well, you gotta sell settlement as victory, and oftentimes settlements are victories. But he's framing it as victory, either for himself, either for his handlers or people, above him or whoever, or he's trying to frame it that way for Vic. It's a win-win for everybody. But listen to how terrified they are. Not a single document, to my knowledge, has been filed. We don't even know the name of Vic's law firm. Well, I mean, I do, but it's not publicly available yet. Not a single thing has happened, and they're already talking about undoing that disinvite. How terrified are these people? Let's see. Dranzer X13 says, this guy has gone on and on and on about the same thing for like 20 minutes now. Does he even know what he's getting himself into? Nope, not a chance. Came in here with no plan. Thought he was going to steamroll me on some point that doesn't exist. Just a drunk internet lawyer, right, guys? Just a drunk alt-right internet lawyer. Probably don't know at all what I'm talking about. I'm probably pretending to be a lawyer in the first place. Never know what's going on. Toy Bounty Hunter says, Shane, you and Nick are ultimately on the same side. No, we're not. Don't believe that guy. He is not on Vic's side ever. That guy is absolutely opposed to him. You're just trying to help Vic in your own ways. Your ideas and methods just differ. Here's the reality. I'm trying to help Vic in one way, and that is provide money for a very potentially expensive course of litigation, because, I mean, my God, the amount of cost that goes into this thing it's astronomical. It's astronomical. And someone who just lost a significant amount of income might think, I don't know if I can afford this. I am helping to defray one obstacle to clearing a man's name. I have no other way to help him. He has to help himself, he and his counsel. All I can do is provide money through a GoFundMe. money that I couldn't pay for. A law firm's not going to take this case pro bono, probably. Absurdly expensive. They have staff to pay. And you know, this could be a 6-figure case in a day. Now, you know what I mean? It could amount to a 6-figure case very quickly, because if you're not going through settlement route, costs just really quick. We'll see. Tanj says, you hurt his feelings. No, you guys hurt his feelings. I didn't say anything to him. T. Damar says, bye, Felicia. You guys are very rude to my guest. Kaiser Crimson says, sorry it's not much since I don't have that much cash at the moment. That said, I can't begin to imagine how much of an over-entitled cuck you have to be to come onto another person's platform and question how they conduct themselves on said platform, LMAO. Well, yeah, you know, I worked for him, I guess. The Uba Monkey on Streamy. Hey, buddy. Chats are really hard to follow, but I happen to see that one. Thanks. Vladimir M. Ivanovich says, you have earned my money tonight. Brilliant work. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate every single dollar that comes in. Federal Reserve has committed treason. Says, abolish the Federal Reserve. You know, I'm not opposed. Not opposed. Hell said, that was insane. Jesse Murray says, what compensation could Vic receive if he wins? Let's talk about that, because this guy didn't seem to understand that Vic could, in a settlement, certainly in a settlement, Vic could win a contract. Vic could get Funimation to agree to put Vic into roles that he has traditionally held. Absolutely, that's a settlement option. Settlement, I mean, pretty much anything is available as long as it's not illegal. So could Vic get contracts from Funimation? Absolutely. Could Vic get retractions from Funimation and everybody else? Absolutely. Could Vic get Funimation to publicly state that their internal investigation was inconclusive and that their second investigation was inconclusive as to harassment and other allegations? Absolutely. He could get all of that. Could Vic get potentially millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars from Funimation by showing that not only is there work that he had going, Morose Mononokean, plus any other work involving Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Superheroes, if that gets dubbed, he could be Broly in that. You know, any number of other things, Dragon Ball video games, all sorts of stuff is possible. All of that work is gone. Full Metal Alchemist is on Netflix. I mean, there's tons of money in these shows that is now no longer available. He could get a multi-million-dollar settlement without batting an eye, especially when you consider that if he went to court and won, there would be punitive damages, or could be punitive damages that would triple the amount of any other civil damages. So lots and lots of remedies. You know what? Like this guy talking about clearing Vic's name by letting him go underground. In my opinion, a better strategy for clearing your name is getting the people who besmirched it to admit that they lied or were hyperbolically speaking. One of those things. To publicly come out and say, you know what? We were mad because we thought Vic was a jerk and we said these things and they damaged him and we're really sorry. We didn't actually mean that he sexually assaulted anybody. You could get them to say that. So anyway, those are all sorts of remedies that are available. Brian Williams says, Brian Williams, base anti-furry, is here to say that the cuckold had agreed we had a point and that he kept getting triggered by beta soy boy comments. Yep, that's what happened. The man from Kiwi said, gets called a soy boy and leaves crying. Good job, chat. Or good game, chat. Isla is Izalazin. Sorry, I'm getting... That's a lot. Thanks for the super chat. Shane is screenshotting them and sending them to his friend in law enforcement. He will not be harassed. Have a good night. Yander Lucy, did we just win? Well, I don't know who won, but I know who lost. Rando number 9 says, Nick Rekieta gets destroyed by sorry-filled beta male with emotions and no arguments. Sakaki Onzai says, at Mr. Anti-Bully, fully sodomized Shane. Job done. The Spaz Cow says, maybe if you use lube, he would come back. Oh, that's gross. Next, we've got the Skate Frecky. Dude, you are a butcher. Sometimes, I guess. Signal RF said he never answered a question and backpedaled using name insults. I mean, yep. Levi Dubelman says, gonna go pee his pants maybe shet and come. Gross. Deviant King says, thank you, Nick, for doing the hard but hilarious thing and staying put through that guy's idiocy. Keep it up, brother. Leon Bauman says, Nick, let's keep pushing back NPCs and SJWs. I mean, gotta fight back. Wouldn't it be better if they just, went back to just arguing instead of trying to get people removed from life? Phoenix Lord Osserman says, that was fantastic, Nick. Thank you for these streams. It's my pleasure. Keck7Go says, him reading about tortious interference with a contract made my day. Worth the hour and a half of nonsense. I mean, that was really creme de la creme. Infanity says, all his arguments sound like he's assuming Vic is guilty because he's not Vic's friend. My presumption is he's innocent. Bingo. Why would he come out saying he's changed when there's no evidence he has done and he has anything to change for? Tony Batiste says, dude, this dude is a coward. Vic ain't gonna listen to this fool. I hope not. Chris Thornton says, you should share this to his lawyer. That guy did not know what he was talking about, but the lawyer should know about him. I will, absolutely. Thorn Tizzle says, riddle me this, lawman. How do I tarnish a reputation without a credible accusation? Get a brigade of people on Twitter. Get a Twitter brigade, I guess, to make non-credible accusations loud enough, and then get the right people retweeting them. Raz Grizz Reborn says, felt like he wants to offer Vic a plea deal on their terms. I don't know if Vic chooses the legal route, if he will be blacklisted by the industry. I don't know. I don't know if he will be or not. It all depends on how everybody plays it. That's why it's important for Vic to have a competent attorney, have a competent legal team who's ready to go. Some YouTube account says he was Googling tentacle porn to show with his family. Aw. Holy Broly Moly says, attaboy, Nick. Drunk uncle actually thought he had valid arguments when he couldn't answer simple questions from you. Chicken Stew says, have you considered going on Joe Rogan? Well, I mean, no. Mainly because I don't have any way to get on Joe Rogan. Clarice Knox says, is this stream admissible evidence for Vic's suits? I guess it depends on who the suit's against. Michael Watson says, make sure to save clips for context, y'all. This video will not go down. I have nothing to hide in this video at all. Taco Jones says, can you make little jerk mugs? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should. That would be great. Little mini rackets on a mug that says little jerk. I'll talk to my producer, Tillip, if you're still on there, if you hear this. Little jerk mugs is a good idea. Larry G says, I came to watch after being pissed playing Anthem all day, and I'm so happy watching this absolute smackdown take place. I would watch your back because the FBI is looking for you after that murder. Shane Holmberg says, it was a nice career Vic had. It would be a shame if something happened to it. Please don't sue my ugly voice acting friends. I don't know if that was actually Shane Holmberg, but Rebel Without a Pause says, Nick, if you do them like that, they won't come back. Well, I don't know. I don't think you just gotta wait for the next person to think they're smarter than you. And lots of people are smarter than me. I don't know what his deal is. Talenseer says, props for at 30K books, bring the Emperor's truth. Yeah. Thank you. Live Bearer Fancier says, money and views. I smell confirmation bias from Minnesota. Oh, hey, welcome, brother. Urzu Holmes says, I'm currently wanting to know, are even any videos for the other side at all, or am I just blind? I mean, really does not seem they have much to stand on. They haven't put out much. The only thing I've seen is a leaked Twitter DM, group DM by some prominent YouTubers. I mean, guys with bigger channels than I have, basically being anti-Vic, but I haven't seen a lot of stuff. But that might be the algorithm directing my traffic. Slept Rock says, careful, Shane may not get sarcasm. Yeah. Win Ghostman says, obviously a liar and a plant. Cal Larkin, oh, I gotcha saying you're not Vic's lawyer. I got you saying you don't have privilege info. Whoa, I gotcha. Congrats, buddy. Cal Larkin says, you can hear the soy being excreted from his lungs when he wheezes. Oh, emphysema is not a joke. Diego Rojas says, very entertaining stream. Tried not to shoot my brains out with all the spurging. Still wondering why we haven't all died in 2012. Yeah, same here, buddy. Maybe we did. Maybe we did. Pub Test says, just doubled my GoFundMe donation. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see the discovery of his private conversations with the accusers. I mean, he might have just admitted to being part of the conspiracy. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not up to me. Not up to me. Just claimed a whole bunch of authority over contracts and claimed that he had the ability to invite or disinvite him, which puts him as a vice principal of the cons under Texas law. I mean, we didn't even get to go into vice principalship. If you have delegated authority that should be exclusive to the convention, like, I don't know, the decisions over who to book and not book, then you're a vice principal, and therefore the con has agency liability or principal agency liability. Okay. Good job implicating your conventions, I guess. T. DeMar said, ladies and gentlemen, we just watched Nick's debut stand-up special titled, Is This Guy Serious? Keg7 Go says, when the lawsuit docs drop, what you gonna drink? Not enough. Whatever it is, not enough. Lockdown Strato says, was that Shane from Twitter? Yes. That guy kept telling me how he saw Funimation contracts and never explained how he got a hold of them or what they said. I think he said a lot of things that isn't true, but that's between him and God. Ryan Zavertnik donated $5 but didn't say anything. Thank you so much. Bad Dragon Bite says, I'm in the chat and I'm not on his side. Wait, you're not on whose side? My side or his side? Hopefully, whatever side you're on, you're just reasonable and not ridiculous. Federal Reserve has committed treason, says government paper money is fraud. There you go, buddy. Every game played says this is Jason Youngbluth 2.0. Thank God he didn't say anything that would require me to remove him from the stream. I'm very glad he didn't. I was honestly worried that he was going to come on and just hide behind an avatar and spam the N-word or something, but thank goodness he didn't. Marcus Jose says you schooled him hard. Was honestly hard to watch. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Nova Zero says, I'm an alt-right Nazi is something we should have made you say in front of a nonsensical meme face. Senna the End says, took him out back with Fortnite and put him down. Lord Rap of Rap Mountain says, YouTube might delete this video of a live execution. Zombie Fan says, Shane is one of the biggest idiots I've ever heard. But no, he was right. He was right. Nicholas Burns says, LWC louder with Crowder. Thank you so much. In the chat, Unreal Ent Gaming. You got my support, man. Thank you for doing what you do to fill us all in on everything, homie. I stand with Vic. Hey, thanks for watching and commenting, buddy. I really appreciate it. Finns Chan says, I don't know if I should be uncomfortable or aroused after watching Shane commit suicide live on air. Well, you'll have to talk to a professional about that. Ryan Zavertnik says, Nick for Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. Joseph Kerwin says, Texas doesn't like troublemakers. That may extend to their laws. If it doesn't extend to their laws, it does extend to their juries and their judges. TK says Rekieta owned that stream. If it had been a prize fight, it would have been called for unanswered punches. Extra Life says the guy is a systems engineer at a real estate company. He's maybe a volunteer with this convention. I mean, maybe, but a vice principal doesn't even have to be paid. If they have authority delegated that's exclusive to the business, they don't even have to be paid. It just matters their authority. What's really sad is that if that guy actually has authority, he may have just put 4 or 5 conventions certainly within the scope of discovery, but he may have put them within the scope of lawsuits. We'll see. I hope that was in your plan, Shane. Hope you thought that one through. Maybe if you'd consulted a lawyer for the conventions, I can guarantee you the lawyer for the convention would have said, what you're planning to do is not advisable right now. But, you know the law. You advise yourself, I suppose. The Waffle Nerd says, be kind to him, Rekieta. Sometimes people can't understand common sense, let alone law. I'm kind to everyone who doesn't understand the law. I am less kind to people who suggest that I don't. Nightmare 35 donated, didn't say anything. Thank you so much. Victor E. Bell. He couldn't win the argument, so he tried taking the moral high ground law classic. Well, it'd be comforting to know that even the completely incompetent are occasionally capable of doing the right thing. Marsupial Gamer, how dare you do this for money? P.S. Have some money. And of course I do this for money. Like that's part of reporting on things, covering topics, even offering opinion commentary. That's how media works. You tell people about things they're interested in, and you try and find a way to get paid enough to keep doing it. So yeah, I am doing this for money in that respect. There are other ways I could do this for money, right? There are lots of channels that grow faster than I do on different subjects, but this is my vice, man. I love this stuff. T. DeMar says, please, if I never heard the word contract again, it will be too soon. Holy crap. Blaine says, we are the 9-year-old army, sub to PewDiePie, and definitely sub to PewDiePie. Don't let T-Series win. Forever229 says, just got here. Can I get a summary? Oh, buddy. No. I can't even summarize what he was trying to say. The Skate Freak says, just having to look at his kitchen would have driven me insane. Avatar of Big Gay says, still got to know what his dodge build was. I need it for research purposes. Hopefully it's like, hopefully it's like a 24 dexterity monk. Devil Trigger DMC says, I stand with Vic and Nick. Sorry, little drunk, but keep laying down the law. Thank you, buddy. Ronan Okami says, you will never see that email. What actual conversation took place? This guy has been running cons for years and still rocking that nasty chair. Commander Guy says, what's your progress on Vic's lawsuit? And when can we see that juicy slice of justice? Again, to be clear, I am not Vic's lawyer. I've never claimed to be Vic's lawyer. I cannot, well, I suppose there's some weird theory where I could go get licensed or waived in Pro Ac Vice in Texas. I don't want to be Vic's lawyer. He does not need me. He needs a firm much bigger than what I do. Much bigger. Anyone who asks me to take on a case like this, now I have very good firms that I could refer them to, absolutely. And if it was a case that was in my jurisdiction and in my style, maybe I'd take it. But for Vic, he's got, at early estimate, 15 plus nameable opponents right now without discovery, and some of them are very well connected and have very, very strong legal teams. I don't have the resources for that. Not my style. Super Iron Bob said, did this guy admit to raping someone on stream? I don't know if he admitted to raping someone, but he admitted to doing something that was not, well, he seemed to. Maybe he misspoke. I hope so. But he seemed to say he was doing things that were inappropriate. Marcus Jose says, tell that guy to Google Dunning-Kruger effect. We don't want to wait for that. We saw how long it took him to Google tortious interference. Kinpachidar says, Drexel would have made this a whole nother level. That would have been funny. Nightmare35 says, is there any chance I could be a guest and ask questions as someone who does not know much about the legal system and has tried to keep an unbiased view? We could maybe do that stream. I'd certainly consider it. You got to DM me on Twitter to figure that out. That's the best way to get a hold of me for that kind of inquiry. Zypher Warrior says he doesn't understand you are speculating based on experience and knowledge. You would get sued revealing privileged information. Hashtag I stand with justice. Meximan and Cheese says this dude was so full of poop, the pleather on his chair was running away. Seriously, it looks like his chair has scabies. This is a professional lol. T. DeMar says Nick Rekieta, Mortal Kombat 11 confirmed. Fatality. Ben Cheevers. Nick the Noose strikes again. Give them the rope and let them hang. If this is how Vic's friends treat him, who needs enemies? I mean, that's been apparent from the get-go, right? Sure, Vic, just admit to made-up BS and let these thoughts get away with burning your life to the ground. Then we'll forgive. We'll definitely invite you back. That's how these always go. Angel of Death Driver says, check his Twitter. He's spamming a single sentence he said in the stream. Good job. He can do it all day. Rolana says, yeah, like trying to placate SGWs by admitting to everything works. That umbrella guy says, hey there. Welcome, Tug. Thanks for showing up, buddy. Carrie Dalton says, such an idiotic idea. Carrie might know a little bit about this. He really thinks the Jamies and Monicas of the world would allow Vic back at a con. Only way to win is court. Of course it is. Of course it is. JT says, please expose Pridemore for false accusing Todd of rape. That'll be up to Todd to do. Joel Woolley says, there was a moment when I was going to make a Helsing Abridged quote, but now all I have is this. It's also from the same scene. It did not work. It did not work. Alucard. Aiden Paladin says, dang, Nick, go look at his Twitter. He's melting down about this. They always do. They always do. It really is Youngbluth 2.0. We'll just see how many days he carries on with it. Taka Vector says, Oh, by the way, guys, I've seen the chats. I've seen the chats where you said that you had formulated a plan to discredit me. I've seen the chats. I've seen them. You're working on a plan, putting something together to discredit me. Guys, everybody talks. Everybody talks. Taka Vector says, I'm so worried he will go to Vic's family and hurt Vic. I care deeply for Vic because he stopped me from suicide. GRP poll, you are being mass flagged and he's deleting tweets. Good luck, I guess. Schwanz Gruberman says, Aiden Paladin, say Gestalt. Gene Wagner says, what do you call a cow that jumps off a cliff? Legendary. Nick Awesome says, Nick says go with Slanesh, but he takes the guy's skull live on stream. Blood for the blood god. Oh, I don't roll with Slanesh. I told him to. And apparently I didn't need to. Because apparently 20 years ago at conventions, this guy said we were already doing it, right? He was already in Slanesh's grip. Dawn Darklight says, Rekieta, you should warn Vic's legal team about INV. Okay. I mean, Vic's legal team is probably going to watch this. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Shanksy Beast says, Lawboy just spread those cheeks and drilled. Gross. Corey Galbraith says he's claiming that he's flagging the video. For what? For what, buddy? Sister Slater Danger says, will you do what he said and contact Vic's firm? I mean, I will assume outright that Vic's firm is already going to see this. But of course I will do what he said and contact Vic's firm. I will let them know exactly what he said. And you know, that's that. Whether they'll confirm anything to me, I won't know. I'll find out. Queen Nida says, saddest part is I could have used this money to make another donation to Vic's GoFundMe or another box of Termagants. Can't ever have enough Termagants. No, you can't. Can you? You know, that's the actual philosophy, I think, too. TLJ Screwjob says, Monica, 11:50 a.m. today. Quote, that's what people don't realize. The classified info is classified to protect his reputation, not ours. All right. You're doing a great job of protecting his reputation right now. Such a friend. 9mm sleeping pill. Extra. Read all about it. Nick isn't Vic's lawyers. Big news for that guy. Dice David says he admitted that he and Vic sexually assaulted people. What a super smart person. Calls CPS. Lol. I don't advise that at all. I do not advise anyone to contact anybody about that guy. He said it publicly. That's enough. That's enough. I want to be very, very clear. I don't think anybody should talk to him at all. I'll be surprised if I'm not blocked. But if I'm not blocked, credit to him. But I'm probably not going to engage him in very much talk because he said what he needed to say to more people than would have ever seen it on Twitter. Ravelin1 says, many thanks for your hard work, lawsplaining, and for the GoFundMe. It's a privilege to help Vic, who gave the real Star Trek back to us. Thanks, Nick. You're welcome very much. It's my pleasure. Bo Stoker says, word on the street, he's going to try and flag your stream. Waiting on a screen of it. Okay. Boag says, please archive this stream. This stream has been recording from the moment we started. So no worries about that. Chicks, and of course, if it does get flagged down, I guess if anybody's interested in clipping it, please let me know. I'd be happy to provide the raw video file. Chicks Whitdick says, what headset do you use? This is a Razer wired, I think it's like a G70 5.1 surround sound headset. I don't know. It's pretty good. It gets really hot. And I broke the top, so it kind of gets sore up there, but it sounds good. Lucius Rayer says, great stuff watching someone set themselves on fire. Well, he was trying to free Tibet. Forever229 says, be sure to archive this. They're saying he's trying to claim it. Is he going to claim copyright or something? I don't know. TLJ Screwjob. Apparently Keemstar was watching your stream. Hey, Keem, what's up, buddy? 3-Force Yoda says, remember, he admitted to having secret chat rooms discussing topics like this. Follow this poop poster on Twitter at 3-Force Yoda. Everybody who wants to, go follow 3-Force Yoda. Yeah, of course he had secret chat rooms discussing topics like this. Everybody's talking about this. That's no secret. Ivan Faza says, Nick, check your Twitter DM. I would, but I got to get through these chats. There are so many. Thank you all so much, by the way. Thank you all. I really do appreciate you showing up and showing such huge support. Zako32 says, Vic was never going to Namakai Dallas in the first place. I think Shane was advertising to get Vic to his con so he can make some money off of him. Lol. Well, there you go. If he wasn't going to go anyway, then I think he probably knows that guy's not his friend. Sakaki Onsai says he works for Akon. He's the director of ops. I know nothing about that, so, you know, whatever. Despotic Force says people are trolling him on his Twitter very badly, not really in a good way in some spots. And again, I'm not in charge of other people. I'm sure I'm going to be blamed. I'm sure I'm going to be blamed for that guy asking to come on my show, having no arguments, and making himself look like a complete fool, and potentially admitting to sexually assaulting people 20 years ago. I'm going to be blamed for that, but I didn't ask him to. He said, would you invite me on your show for a discussion? I said, okay, cool. So, you know, the truth abides, the dude abides. He supposedly is flagging you and deleting vital info, FYI. Okay, sounds good. KMC Skunknet says, I sent a tweet showing his con and has a date and venue. Oh, so he lied about that. Good job. Dubler says, please continue to invite people incapable of defending themselves from the Socratic method. Well, yeah, they invite themselves. Jason Youngbluth invited himself. This guy invited himself. The only one I invited was Tonka. The only guy I invited was Tonka, as far as people who have come out of this bad. But I still maintain that I treated Tonka well within his expectations, and remind everybody that Tonka thanked me at the end of that stream. Raru the Red Mage says, when's RacketCon? I'll volunteer. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. There might be a literal convention that I will go to in the very near future in Texas. I don't know if I can or not. I'm trying to work it out, but I might actually be at a convention in Texas to talk about Vic. If that is possible, I will, and I confirm it, I will release details of that. And anyone who wants to come see me, I'll happily shake your hand. And if you want, I'll give you a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Scary Things Are Scary says, use his beta cuck tears as lube. Gross. Gross. NSR 9mm says, Namakai Dallas, look at the anti-harassment policy he changed on February 7th. Archive it and get to Vic's team. He needs discovery too. Yes, if someone could do that archive, I would really appreciate it. Nervash says, not related, but Shane clearly had loose dentures. Oh, okay. I have fake teeth, so I don't make fun of people's teeth. I'll make fun of my own. My two front ones are fake. Because I got beaten up by a dog, so that was a sad moment. Akasit says, this post-show Justice Chat reading is strangely cathartic after that poop show. I agree. Keck7Go says, Nick admitted on air he had no idea what Vic was doing. Shane's last 10 tweets. No kidding. You lied, Nick. I demand my super chat and feet pics as reparations. You already have them. Crone Dome says, translation, please don't set precedent. Would be bad. It would be bad. T. DeMar says, lol, okay, he's reading things I want. I won't say while I'm typing. I'm donating anyway. Okay, thank you. Wacky Swacky says, Vic is in a no-win situation. Even if he sues Funimation and win, he'll still never work in anime dubbing again. Kind of sad. I disagree. I think Vic does have a return path. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, voice actors are voice actors. Funimation is business. Rooster Teeth is business. And some cons are business. Does Vic ever work in anime dubbing again? Who's to say? There is a path back to it because, again, it's still business. The numbers are not on Funimation's side here. They miscalculated. They thought, we've got accusations of sexual assault from these verified people. We can go ahead and make that termination. No problem. Certainly, all of his fans aren't going to disbelieve us and say, wait, where's the proof? Certainly that's going to happen because that's what happens in sexual assault allegations in Twitter. But They miscalculated because so many people have had so many positive interactions with Vic that they say, wait a minute, that doesn't fit the character. Even Shane says Vic is a good guy. Even Shane says Vic's a good guy. I don't want to see him go through this. Whatever he said, go read his words. It doesn't fit. And people know that. Funimation has a lot to worry about right now. We'll see. We'll see. DLC Forces says, can I download this video so I can make some memes? Yeah, if you want to clip parts of this video and make memes, buddy, yeah, go ahead. I appreciate when people do clip it, just to send me a DM on Twitter and say, hey, I clipped a little bit out of your stream. Just letting you know. That's my offer, right? Just let me know, and I appreciate that. And if you could link the video, I would appreciate that. If you're doing it on YouTube. If it's for memes, I mean, you can't link the video as easily, but just let me know. Send me the memes so I can laugh. That'd be great. Sniper Shots 22 says, with this going to court, what would be the career consequences, not including monetary, for Rial and Marchi, etc.? Depends how Funimation wants to play it. And I think, by the way, if you get your company sued based on what you said, and also if it comes out that they were lying, the career consequences for them could be devastating. Chris Dozier says, good going. Fight the good fight against these mental midgets, Nick. Thank you. I will. TLJ Screwjob says, if it was things like sexual assault, harassment, isn't that an actual crime and Vic could be in jail for it? If it's sexual assault, yeah, certainly. If those were the charges, Vic wouldn't be walking around right now, so they have nothing, right? Well, they don't have charges. That's one thing they've never had is charges. And that's the nefarious part of these allegations, is many of them don't rise to a real level of criminality. I mean, they could, in theory, be like a misdemeanor battery, but it gets very, very difficult to peg a misdemeanor battery on someone, especially more than about a year later. Misdemeanors typically have a 1-year statute of limitations, and most of this stuff they say would have happened a long time ago. If it was a misdemeanor battery, like he kissed someone, they really didn't like it, I mean, that's a small fine. It's a misdemeanor. With a plea agreement, it may even get removed from his record. I mean, who knows? Would he go to jail for it? Almost certainly not. Almost certainly not. Mithrin Emmer says, dude was gleeful. You admitted you speculate something you already say. So he won? What a giant dummy. I guess. Jeff Meyer says, argue on my terms, Nick. Okay. What are you saying Vicky is guilty of? Does not compute. Schwanz Gruberman says, how about this for a conspiracy? They wanted Vic gone, banded together to get rid of him to further their careers, but they didn't think he had the balls or funds to sue, so now they're panicking. Oh, I think they're really panicking. I mean, I don't know. Jorge Blanco says, Mr. Medicare sent me here. Hey, thanks, Jim. Kyle says, a shot of wild turkey for the drunk internet lawyer that clearly doesn't know anything. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Woodman Gaming says, thanks for the fun, Nick. I'm off to bed. Buttload of shoveling to do thanks to our Gale Force wins. Yeah, man, they were ridiculous. I went to the store today. It was nuts. Good luck with that. Mordred says, he's got a Twitter from Antonio Chavez, SN. Shane threatened Ghost Shell Z's mother with a raid. Well, that's nice of him. Alexis Valen says, did his comments on behavior at cons years ago just change the case? Sounded like an admission. P.S. Make sure this stream is archived. I will have a permanent copy of this stream forever. Even if it gets shut down in the middle of me reading these and I don't notice, I will continue reading them and that will still be archived. I'm not reliant on YouTube. Plus, it's on StreamMe. So even if you take it down from YouTube, it'll probably be there too. Rickard says, Nick, baby, that was beautiful. I loved watching Run Away. By the way, are you an Irish farmer? That was a great potato harvest. No, I am not an Irish farmer. Facetious Sage says, I'm spending $5 here to let you know this inspired a donation to the GoFundMe. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Due process is vital to keeping things civilized. It's the underpinning of our society. Crazy Drunk 88 says, Nick, I was raging in anger there with you, buddy. Dude was really annoying. Yes, very annoying. Kiara Hardy says, look on Twitter. I will later. James Bays says, Nick, I don't think he knew how incriminating he is. He doesn't understand. Taco God Boomdog just sent a smiley face. Thank you. Landon Mackinjames says, roses are red, anal is gay. Rekieta sent him away. Nice poem, buddy. Could use some workshopping. Super Nerd Master says, why isn't Jamie Markey fired for sexual harassment? I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know anything about the allegation against her except that it was made. I don't know anything about that person. Joseph Kerwin says, ever do a video on Ethereum and smart contracts? I've talked a little bit about crypto with some people. I'd like to learn more. I don't know enough about crypto to know to talk competently about it. That's why I try and bring on experts. Devil Trigger DMC says, this party's getting crazy. Let's rock. Rolana1 says, I'm waiting for a DMCA claim on this video. He better not do that. A DMCA claim would be false. Would be a false DMCA claim. He owns none of the content on this video. It was on my channel. That would be, I did not show anything that he would own in the slightest. The Level 1 King says, hey, is this the tortious interference you were looking for? Was just catching up. FFLP.com, Texas tortious interference with business relations. Yeah, I mean, that's one possible cause of action. That's one. There are several against multiple parties. And I've laid out a basic strategy, but lawyers with more time, resources, and researchers than just one guy out of his jurisdiction will probably come up with an even broader legal theory than I have. Julio Santoyo says, send feet. Thank you. I've done it before. You got to find them. I think Bagel Goose holds them and sells them. Gravedigger says, this is all going as planned. None of you will ever know if you are playing your part. All hail the Raven God Siege. Brian Chavez says, iron within, iron without. Yes, brother. Quantum Video says, can you show us how to archive messages on Twitter to help Vic make a YouTube video on it? Maybe I will. I'm a boomer. But I think you just go to archive.is. Very simple. Go to archive.is, click copy link to the tweet on Twitter, and put it into archive.is. And there it is. There it is. Mr. Archer says, Monica's man was freaking out that Vic was getting the resources to bring action against so many parties. Taking Vic's prospects was part of the strategy so they could get away with the same, with a smear job. Yep, I think so too. Trencher1375 says, you should make a YouTube law convention. That'd be very fun. T. DeMar says, thanks for the fun night, Nick. I don't know that I've ever laughed at, felt sorry for, or been mad at a person as much as I was with him tonight. It was truly a great time. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Archer says, I'm a Minnesota native, disabled vet who appreciates you. I appreciate you back, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Plum Logan says, I called him getting rolled by his own on Twitter after getting bullied here. He's got to have won the encounter, right? Like, he will have to have done it. Otherwise, it will have been a terrible mistake to have come on here. Goru says, Shane's Twitter literally says he is a traitor, SMH. Okay, there we go. And let me check Stream Me one last time. He did say tendies a lot, huh? Can't Rough the Fluff says, I have a hard-hitting question for your guest. Why the hell is there a tiny stove behind his chair? That's probably for his kids to play with. He did. Oh, I don't know if you saw it on stream. He mentioned that he has children. In his picture, he's got a baby on Twitter. I assume it's his, but I don't know. That's probably why. It's a child's toy. Crackpot says, Ree! Zoda Soda says, based on Brainlet's comments, I fear Vic will bend the knee to these people because he does want back in the industry, and obviously they've decided he's guilty no matter what. Also, could suddenly inviting him to cons be fear of the case? Yes, of course it's fear of the case. They're terrified of this. Terrified of this. Wield the Chain says, I got here just now. What a shame. I heard someone got annihilated. Way to go, sir. Really looking forward to watch the archive. Yep, it should be up as soon as YouTube gets done processing it. Finally, Blaine, Adam Tracy, lawyer, I think I linked you regarding ACH Trust, knows cryptocurrency law. Have him on for 2 birds. Yeah, that would be great. I'll reach out to him. That would be fantastic. Well, guys, thank you. Thank you for the show. Magically, it ends at 3 hours, which I'm very appreciative of. I thought it would go maybe an hour. I didn't think that guy was going to hang around. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. But I do love and appreciate you guys for coming on the stream tonight. Biggest show I've ever done by a clear mile, and that means a lot to me. Qua Firm says sent $1 and does not have a chat attached to it. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you to the Stream Me chat. Always keeping it 100 over there. Or maybe keeping it a different number, a different a different dangerous number, dangerous people. Landon Mackinjames says weeb stream soon. Man, every stream's a weeb stream right now, but we'll have to work it out. So thank you all for watching. I'm out of ice cream, which is a travesty, so I'm gonna go eat some cookies. You guys have a good night. Thank you. Subscribe, by the way, please. Like, subscribe, share if you like watching this on-screen executions. I don't get to do them often enough, but we do have lots of other things. And finally, please, if you I'm gonna screen share the GoFundMe real quick. I'll screen share the GoFundMe because I want people to see how it's doing. So here it comes. Here it comes. Here's the GoFundMe. We are at 66,867. Oh, it needs to be refreshed. Let's see how we're doing now. 67,652. Thank you so much. If you believe in this cause, if you believe in standing up to these brigades, or if you support Vic Mignogna, or if you simply support the notion of innocent until proven guilty, if you support any of that, please consider donating. Do not donate outside of your means. I would never ask anyone to donate outside of their means. But if you do have a couple extra dollars and want to support this, please do. Vic sees this, guys. Vic sees the messages. Vic sees the support coming in, and it really means a ton. So thank you all for that. Mega Vigoroth says, annoying. Guess you could say he was harassing you. Yeah, harass or otherwise annoy. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You have a good night. Peace. Peace.